I can't use the printer unless I have a subscription to it. You have to have a subscription to said printer to use the printer that I already bought with money.
Oh, sorry, you don't have an HP Instant Ink subscription. You can't print. What do you mean? It's fully loaded with ink. We got 2 of them. Color, black and white. Everything you need. Right in there. Sorry, you also need a subscription.
Welcome back to Edwards Economics. My name's Kaylin, and the average American household just crossed $3,000 a year in subscriptions. And most of you watching have literally no idea you're spending that much. 20 years ago, you bought a car, you bought a song, you bought software on your computer. And once you paid for it, it was yours. You didn't have to worry about somebody coming and taking it. Some of y'all were illegally pirating stuff. But if you bought it, it was yours. But in 2026, you literally rent every single little thing. And the math that is costing every one of us is brutal. The subscription economy isn't just annoying anymore. It's a structural transfer of wealth from your bank account to a small group of corporations that figured out recurring revenue is worth way more than a one-time sale. They once told us that you will own nothing and you will be happy. And I'm afraid that their plan is starting to unfold. So what in the world is going on with all these subscriptions in 2026? Let's find out.
I keep seeing TikToks about people being mad that they have to pay for a subscription to be able to use features of their car, like starting your car, locking, unlocking, like seeing all the things on the app. And when I first got my old car, they gave me 3 free years of that service, of that Mazda app. And I was like, okay, cool, but I don't think that my dad's gonna keep paying for that service just so that I can start my car in the winter. So when we went shopping for my new car, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I'm gonna get another 3 years of this.
Y'all letting them get away with it. The printer was already too far from you. You mean to tell me y'all are buying cars? Y'all are buying cars and they are putting behind a paywall the ability to start the car. The car has the features, yet you can't use them unless you continuously pay for it? Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm gonna get a new car, so it's gonna come with 3 more years of service. And when I got my car, they told me that I only have 1 year of it. Subscriptions are literally gonna end at the same time. It didn't even do me any good. And I think that's insane because not only are they charging for a feature that should be free because it came with the car, but they're also cheating you out of what they originally said that they would give. And on top of that, you're paying for a subscription for something that's like half as good as the original version. I wish that my key would start my car because sometimes I don't have service or it'll just randomly fail. I'll try to start my car and it says something went wrong. I wish that I could do it from the key. So they're just kind of cheaping out and making like a worse version and then charging for it on top of that.
Oh, no, see, no, this is gonna be my favorite video ever. I'm just gonna literally kick back and just watch this because this is gonna get progressively more ridiculous. I'm not getting a new car. I'm gonna stick with my 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee that I can just boop boop and it starts. Where some of the software features don't even work anymore because I didn't get CarPlay. Now I don't even want CarPlay. You gotta pay for CarPlay.
Since when did we live in a world where we have to have a subscription for everything? What do you mean this computer doesn't already have Microsoft and stuff on it? I was using Word just fine. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, sorry, you don't have a subscription. Subscription? Shouldn't you already be on the computer? I bought a computer to write stuff on. Why can't I write? You don't have a subscription. Okay. Gets the subscription, goes to print something. Oh, sorry, you don't have an HP Instant Ink subscription. You can't print. What do you mean?
Ink? Oh, no. No. Ink? They got y'all on an ink subscription too? I was already annoyed when literally nothing works on your computer because you need one. Ink is diabolical.
It's fully loaded with ink. We got 2 of them. Color, black and white. Everything you need. Right in there. Sorry, you also need a subscription. Tell me why I'm just trying to write a simple document and print it out and it just cost me $25.99. My stuff that I already paid for. $25.99.
Yeah, we can't let them keep getting away.
I haven't even left my house. Costing me money.
We can't let them keep getting away with this. They are just testing the limits now. They're just trying to see how much they can get away with. Subscriptions for ink? Is it like Amazon? Like they'll deliver it to your door? Or you literally can't use the printer because the software won't let you because you haven't. Y'all got it. Y'all got it.
This is my final straw. My final straw in capitalism. So the printer that I bought with money and the paper that I supply with it that costs money, the ink that I supply it with costs money, and the house that I have to plug it into, the Wi-Fi that I use to connect it to, the phone that I use to print said things to, that all cost money. I can't use the printer unless I have a subscription to it. You have to have a subscription to said printer to use the printer that I already bought with money. I know life is just a bunch of subscriptions. At this point, we subscribe to the air that we breathe. But a printer? $5 a month. $5 a month to print
And that's
things.
not even like, I could see, okay. I could see if there's like, okay, $5 every year to maintain the server costs to keep the printer software up to date. Like, that would even still be crazy. $60 a year to use your printer that you barely even use because literally everything is digital now.
Let's just bring back cable, okay? Cable TV. The streaming services experiment is done. It's been ruined. I was just adding up the number of streaming platforms and the money that I spend on those platforms every month, and it's a ridiculous amount.
Forget the money. Because cable was expensive too. Like I remember my parents complaining about it, whatever. You know what really grinds my gears? You can't even find what you want to watch anymore. I don't even watch it anymore. Oh, the playoffs are on for the NFL, NBA, baseball. I can't even find it. Oh, did you watch the game? Where? Literally where? Oh, did you see who got voted off of Survivor? Where do you even watch it? My family and I will watch it, right? I get Paramount Plus to, see Survivor. You can't even watch it until the next day after it's already aired. What's the point in that? What's the point in that? So many things. We don't even know where to even... It's annoying. I'm done.
Every time I want to watch a new show or movie, I just subscribe to another platform. With MGM Plus. A couple days ago, I was on Amazon Prime looking for a random 90s movie, a very specific movie. And they were like, oh yeah, sure, we have it and you can watch it. But you have to subscribe to Shout TV. Shout TV. So then I look up Shout TV and it becomes very clear that it's just another one of these platforms that holds a bunch of random, obscure TV shows and movies. And these platforms exist because of nostalgia. They know that at some point, someone's gonna want to watch something from their childhood, from their past, that they used to watch with their mom, whatever, and they're gonna find it on one of these platforms, and they're gonna plunk down the $2.99 and then forget about it, right? Most of these platforms, they're not really creating a lot of quality content. They might be churning out 1 or 2 good shows a year, but we're all still paying anywhere from $2 to $19 a month to hold on to these. I mean, look at Netflix.
They don't get me, though. They don't get me. I'll give you your little funky $3.49 when you have the little deal going on, but I will cancel it immediately. So, as always, in true Edwards economics fashion, we are going to try to make the case on why all of us should be paying more money for subscriptions in order to own nothing and try to be happy. Subscription is just paying what you'd actually pay anyway, just in a tidier wrapper. So if every recurring charge on your card sits in one of those 3 buckets, then you're fine. You can just skip the rest of this video. But you're not gonna actually do that because that's a scenario that's not actually happening. So we just set it up so that we can tear it down and dunk on it because This is where the steel man starts to fall apart. Most subscriptions in 2026 aren't filling any of those three roles. They're filling a fourth one that I hid from you guys until I reveal it to you right now. The one that is advocating that we turn ownership into rentals for literally everything in our life. And y'all, this is the most profitable trade in modern business. Here's the actual reason every CEO is in love with this business model. A one-time sale gets valued by the market at 1 to 3 times revenue. A subscription gets valued at 4 to 7 times revenue, sometimes higher. That is a multiple expansion of 2 to 5 times for the exact same dollar of revenue, which means every CEO has a personal financial incentive to convert any product that they possibly can into a reoccurring fee. It's why your printer stops working when the ink subscription lapses. Even when there's ink already in the cartridge, the product is no longer the product. The reoccurring fee is. And there is some brutal math if you look at the 10-year comparison. The average household subscription stack at $3,000 a year compounds into $30,000 over 10 years. So we do need to be more prudent before we start giving over our credit card and debit card information. Y'all, they are running a play on us and we're acting like we don't know what to do. I'm not saying that what you should do is cancel everything. What I'm saying is you do need to understand what you're agreeing to. So I have some advice for some of you guys who still haven't done the math on all of the subscriptions that you have. Go ahead and sit your tail down this weekend. Pull up the last 90 days of bank and credit card statements and find every single recurring charge. Now, if you're more techy, you can even take a picture of it with your cell phone and then throw it into any AI and just have it do an audit of all your spending. Then go ahead and have the AI or yourself put it into 3 different filters. First, did I open or use this service in the last 30 days or not? Second, am I paying for a cheap tier or have I silently been upgraded to a more expensive one? And the third, is this filling a real role in my life? Or am I paying to feel like I have something that I'm not actually using? Then go ahead, tally up all the results, and literally be ruthless. Cancel anything that fails the 3 filters. But I have a question. What was the most embarrassing subscription that you found when you ran your audits? Whether you did it just now or you did it recently in the past. Go ahead, drop it in the comment section below. Just be honest, we're not going to judge you.
Charging us $600 a year to keep all of our functions on our 2025 Camry after we've owned it for a year. Let's go ahead and dive into what it is. Well, everything's a subscription nowadays, so it shouldn't be too surprising that cars are now wanting a subscription as well. And after a year, Toyota expires some of the vehicle functions. So what are those functions? Well, probably the biggest thing that expires after a year is remote start via the Toyota app. So you used to be able to, from anywhere, open the app and remote start your vehicle to get it cooled down. That's no longer a thing after a year. You also lose the digital key functionality, so you have to take your keys everywhere with you. You can no longer use your watch or your phone. Another big thing that expired is our navigation. Despite us buying the high-end XSE trim level with the big screen, when we tap to the navigation menu, guess what? It's now expired, and if I hit get started all at once...
This is making my head hurt. Especially because he's using the word expired. That just grinds my gears beyond any level of explanation I can even. What do you mean expired? Like the car is perishable, like it's a piece of bread. Expiration date passed, can't eat it. This ain't no food. How we got beans in the pantry that last longer than the features on these cars? What? Expired?
To do is sell me this subscription. So how much is the subscription? Well, $15 a month is the entry-level price if you want the app functionality with things like navigation, which I feel like we already paid for. Now, if you want additional things like Apple Music to be able to function inside the car natively, that's $25 a month. And then if you want Wi-Fi on top of that, that's an additional $25 a month. So yes, you can spend $50 a month on this Camry in subscriptions, $600 a year. Now, of course, we're not doing that. I don't think it's worth that, but Do you think it's worth it?
No, you might as well live in it. You literally might as well live in it at that point.
You think your life is bad? Yahoo Email is trying to hold 15 years of my email account hostage. Yahoo Mail says your storage is full, and if you don't pay us within the next 5 days, you're not going to be able to send or receive any more emails from our cheesy email service that I kept for some reason. They want me to pay, so the free plan isn't cutting it, so they want me to pay $2 to $10 a month to keep my cheesy Temu Yahoo email. Of course, guys, I should just switch to Gmail, but I've been giving this email address out to people for the last 15 years. I can't just let it go away. Like, I can't just let it die. Yahoo is holding my email hostage and extorting me because I kept it for so long, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to pay Yahoo $24 a year, certainly not $120 a year for like the worst email service ever. Any advice?
Please check your subscriptions. Please check pending subscriptions, your trials, your free trials. I was just charged $144 for Grammarly. Oh my god! So I downloaded Grammarly during finals week because I had a lot of essays and somebody told me that Grammarly worked really good to proofread and make sure that there was no plagiarism or anything like that. So I downloaded and made an account. There was cooler features on there, but you needed platinum for it. And I only needed it for the finals week. So I did the free trial and I forgot to cancel my subscription.
Ouch.
I was just charged $144. This was literally the last thing I needed. This was the last thing I needed.
It's great that everything's a subscription now. Everything's just a rental. It's fantastic. I love that. Didn't have to do a whole lot to convince everybody to be okay with it. They just went, instead of charging you one time for Photoshop, we're going to charge you 3/4 of the price of Photoshop every month for the rest of your life until you die. And we all went, that sounds great. Thank you so much. Printers on subscription services now because printing was already so so you may as well get an app involved. You get 15 pages of printing free until you hit a paywall, and now you gotta pay a monthly fee to use a physical object already in your house on paper that you already purchased. There are some garage door openers that are on subscription services now. Now you have to rent the ability.
That is so cool. Lock the doors. Everybody leave. Pay up. They will lock you in the house and not let you out. You're not driving anywhere until you pay your car subscription and then pay the garage door opener subscription. What are we doing?
To open a door in a house that you own, or more likely in a house that you rent. You are renting the ability to open doors in the house that you rent. Even better. Did you guys know that medical software is on a subscription too? The software that doctors need to use the machines to do neurosurgery? Sometimes doctors will go into neurosurgery and go, our subscription needs to be renewed. We need to get our account manager on the phone before we can do neurosurgery. The last person I want involved in my neurosurgery is a member of the sales team, okay? We have to get a guy named Matt on a Teams call before you guys can operate? It's gone downhill. The fact that everything's on subscription now makes me really confused when people are optimistic about brain chips. You're gonna advertise it by being like, now you can see the world how dogs see the world, but...
Imagine you get the little implant in your head, right? The little, whatever it is, the brain chip. You go to sleep. They're playing commercials in your dream. You can't wake up until you watch and sit through an ad. Oh my goodness, y'all, this is so bad. We're so cooked. We're so cooked. This is how it ends. This is the societal decline. This. PQ and humanity. We're going out on advertisements, y'all. Wow.
I feel like they've successfully subscriptionified our entire lives. Like, really, when you think about it, pretty much everything now is a subscription. Literally, just existing is a subscription. Oh, do you want to be alive for another month? Pay our monthly fees. All of your basic necessities in life have become a subscription. Even like your rent. It's a monthly fee that you pay that you have to renew at the end of the year. and then they're just going to increase the price with absolutely no improvements to the product, and you have no choice because you don't want to move, or it's too expensive to. Even your subscriptions have become a subscription. They're just like, oh, are you having a hard time paying your monthly subscriptions? Well, here's an app to finance your monthly subscriptions through a monthly subscription. There's no escaping it. And by the way, they're not done. They're just getting started. Everything is, they're going to have to start having like subscription babies, subscription spouses, they give you like a checkbox and you order one in the mail, and then you can have the option to renew after a year if you don't like it.
Literally shut down their website so people can't cancel. Who am I talking about? Microsoft Live. For no apparent reason other than corporate greed, because they're not saying why. They just went from $9.99 to $29.99. $30 to play live a month. So many people started canceling their Microsoft Live that they just shut down the website and said, no, you can't cancel. Corporations continue to stab themselves. Are you not thinking at all about your shareholders? What are we going to see the stock do now for Microsoft? Have you seen what's happening to the Netflix? They broke the barrier, the low, and it crashed underneath it, and it's still going down. If you would have bought puts when I told you to buy it, as a matter of fact, we should be buying puts on Microsoft now.
The crazy thing about capitalism is not only do you not own anything anymore, because everything is either rented or a subscription, but you actually pay more and more for it every single year. If you already feel like streaming is expensive right now, get ready because you're about to pay even more. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, streaming prices are rising faster than the rest of the economy. For example, in 2024, streaming prices were up 4.3%, while overall inflation was just 3.1%. To get maximum profit out of us, their users, streaming platforms like Disney, Netflix, HBO Max have just been creating more and more random subscription tiers to the point where an ad-free experience, which should be normal, is just a luxury. Spotify Premium, which is already high at $11.99 a month, is increasing to $12.99 a month in February. And they try to justify this by pushing other forms of content like audiobooks and podcasts that subscribers didn't even ask for. This is what streamflation looks like. You don't own it, you can't opt out, and the price only goes one direction.
Somebody please explain this to me. I pay a monthly subscription to things like Amazon, Netflix, Disney Plus, so on and so forth. What absolutely aggravates me is how I pay a monthly subscription and there's movies that are on there, but when I click on certain movies, I have to pay extra money to watch them. Dude, the movie was available like a couple of weeks ago, but then all of a sudden, now not only do I pay a monthly subscription, but now I've got to pay an extra $4 or $5 for that particular movie on that platform.
Always something.
My absolute favorite is the holiday seasons. Them movies are available all year long, but if you want to watch a Halloween movie, not come October. You better pay up that extra $4 or $5. Christmas movie? Nah, you ain't watching that come December for free. You gotta pay extra to watch that. I mean, am I the only one here? Like, shouldn't it be if I pay a subscription, those should just be included with it? Somebody make this make sense. Somebody please explain this to me.
Why is everything a subscription now? Most importantly, why can't we own anything anymore? Hi, my name is Andrea Mizrahi, and welcome to episode 31 of It Really Is That Deep. And today, we're talking about the subscription economy. Okay, this isn't just about Netflix or Spotify, which are the two obvious examples of this phenomenon. This is about a fundamental shift in terms of how we consume and what it even means to own something. The term subscription economy is popularized by companies like Zora, basically to describe a world where instead of selling product, companies are starting to sell ongoing access. And look around, that's exactly what's happening. We no longer get to own things forever, we only get limited access now. You pay to use it for as long as they let you. And that's why everything from entertainment to software to even meal kits has become a monthly fee.
So, it's 2026, and you made it this far, except you don't actually own anything anymore. But that's not a problem if you decided to rent. The problem is the people who didn't decide. They drifted from buying things to renting things, one auto-renew at a time. And now, every month, they pay for the privilege of using what they used to own. So run the audit, y'all. Cancel 2 or 3 subscriptions, and then reclaim the money that is rightfully yours. That's the move in 2026. What else is the move is going to edwardseconomics.com and subscribing there, because that's where I go deeper with more unfiltered breakdowns and biblical application that I can't always get into here. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and share this video with a friend who's paying for 5 or more streaming services and literally watching none of them. And then Let me know in the comments what you found in your audit. Thank you guys for watching this video once again. I pray the Lord blesses you, He keeps you, that He turns His face towards you, He turns His countenance towards you, He gives you favor, and that He gives you peace.
I just think it's gonna get all stolen, you know?
There's a lot of reasons to hate HOAs. There's an HOA that just came out and said you have to leave your garage door open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
My HOA is foreclosing on everybody's house.
Does anyone have a creative way to take care of an HOA, Karen? Because our house is nothing special, but we keep it clean. It looks nice. And a lady just came by and took a picture of that.
So today we're going to be doing some de-influencing when it comes to living in an HOA. It was unbelievable to me the amount of examples that I found on social media with people complaining about how ridiculous their HOA is. Not only do you have to deal with sky-high home prices with people barely scraping by just to pay their mortgage, but now you also have to pay extra for an HOA that doesn't do much other than harass you about your home. It just doesn't seem like a good deal to me. We have a ton of stuff to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just jump right into it.
You're facing what kind of penalties right now? Right now, we're looking at $10,150 last time I checked.
A homeowners association sets the rules for a neighborhood, collecting dues and issuing fines for violations. They have similar authority to a government body, but they don't have the accountability of one. And neighbors at the Cooper Mountain Estates HOA in Beaverton found out that can quickly go sideways. It started in the garage. Sam Shake's tenant liked to do woodworking there. The HOA board sent multiple violations and fines, more than $1,000 a week, saying the tenant was operating a woodworking business, that he couldn't fit 2 cars in the garage, and that woodworking was proof of habitation.
He said, this is not habitation, this is a cave. It's a woodworking hobby.
KGW talked with multiple families who were penalized for having older family members, like parents-in-law, living with them. The HOA fined families $300 a week for using their homes as multi-family dwellings.
An HOA is such an invasive concept. Like, how is it anyone's business how I run my property? Exactly. That's why when I was looking for my house, my first thing I kept telling my realtor is absolutely positively no HOA. I agree. I feel like the HOA should only have rights over the outside of the house, not what happens in my garage or who lives there. But we're going to see a little bit later a clip about a garage that gets even crazier than this one. And we got a comment from you guys that's very similar. The idea of buying a property that a group of people can tell me what I can and cannot do with my house is absolute insanity. And depending on what these HOAs are doing at the time of you purchasing the home, you might be on the hook paying for something that happened even before you moved in.
This is not my regular content, but I just got our HOA dues for 2026 in the mail. And my husband and I just went over it, and oh my gosh, we probably spent like 20 minutes just like talking mad poop because we're just so angry. If you are thinking about moving or buying a house, please think twice before purchasing a home that has an HOA, because they will do nothing but take it. So when we first moved in, apparently there was this huge lawsuit happening where one of the neighbors had built a shed along the pond, and well, that's a big no-no. Well, they had put in a request. So to move a freaking bush, you have to write a request to HOA to move a bush, and then they have 30 days to respond to you. Well, unfortunately, the person that was supposed to respond had passed away, but we didn't. The person that put in the request didn't know that they died, and they went ahead and just did anyways, because who it is, if they don't respond, you can go ahead and do it. Well, they didn't, and HOA came back and sued their butts. Sued them for what? For what? It's their property. I just don't understand it. So they got sued, and it cost a grand spanking total of $23,271, and guess who paid for it? The sweet neighbors, all of us. And mind you, we just moved in. We had no idea what was going on. This lawsuit has happened before we moved in.
So the HOA is basically allowed to do whatever they want on your dime. I just don't understand why people decide to put themselves through this kind of stuff. And we got another comment from you guys here. While in law school, I clerked for a judge. I watched them do a trial where the HOA went after a homeowner. These were $150,000 to $200,000 houses at the time because they didn't like the color they painted their house. Lame, but whatever. The rule was it had to be earth tone color. The homeowners got prior approval, but once they saw how it dried, the HOA threw a fit. Fast forward to the day of the trial, the HOA used HOA funds to hire an expensive lawyer. Just like the last clip, the homeowners represented themselves. They basically submitted a copy of the policy and closed their side of the case. The HOA attorney hemmed and hawed about this and that. The judge took about 30 seconds to decide in favor of the homeowners and against the HOA. Yet the people in the HOA were on the hook for the legal bill. It was fun and fascinating. It also made me decide to never buy a house with an HOA. These are not just one-off examples. This happens all the time.
This is why people hate HOAs. Pictures right here. I just got my picture. I got this letter, not at my front door, in the mail. So I feel like they had someone come around, get the violations, tell corporate or whatever, and then put it in our mailboxes. Right to let you know that in our daily operations we noticed the following issue: trash cans visible. Ugh, extreme violation. And then they found a little picture of a garage, but it's not my garage. They have my correct address on this letter, but then the garage is of someone else's garage, and I know it for a fact because this one's a one-car garage, and I have a two-car garage. So I have to, I guess, email them so that they don't come for me.
And I can almost guarantee that this is going to turn into a huge problem anyway, even though you can clearly prove that the car is not your house. And we got another comment from you guys that was pretty similar. I got a photo from my HOA telling me that the grass is on my riding lawnmower cutting the grass. I mean, you really can't make this kind of stuff up. And there are a ton of clips like what's up on screen right now when your HOA makes you remove the whole shed that they approved. My HOA committed crepe murder with some photos of a tree that's been absolutely decimated. My HOA really said no chalk after 10 p.m. like it's a crime scene. Can someone please explain the benefits of an HOA? You're not allowed to park on the street in my stepdad's neighborhood, or they'll sticker your car, but only sometimes. And you can clearly see how difficult it is to get off. You could file a lawsuit against them for defacing private property. Stickering your car is illegal, by the way. I mean, we even have an example here that we went over a long time ago in an older video. Arizona homeowner fined $100 repeatedly for giving out free water and heat amid clash with an HOA. And this got picked up by a whole bunch of news stations. I mean, the screenshot is from the New York Post. HOAs are just senior high school bullies, over 150,000 likes. Can't even be a nice person anymore, over 200,000 likes. These stories truly just never end.
Margot refinanced her house in 2020 to pay off the first balance of nearly $10,000, estimating she's now out of pocket on fees and fines alone. Nearly $20,000. County records show she's also one of dozens of homeowners in the neighborhood of 165 homes that the HOA has filed liens on.
I'm the very first person in my family to own a home. I grew up in a trailer. I had no idea it was going to be like this.
Metro Atlanta real estate attorney Patience Casey Sadie tells me she's seeing more and more HOAs operate through hired management companies.
These management companies have 10, 20, 30 other associations that they're managing. And if a homeowner has a concern, they email the management company, no response. They call, no response. There's no office for them to show up at, and the board members are not responding.
Making it nearly impossible for residents to appeal or negotiate with their HOA.
So you're just basically screwed. And apparently it can get so bad that they start putting liens on your home. But they don't care whatsoever. Like they said, a ton of homes had liens against them in just that single neighborhood alone. When these companies own 10, 20, 30 different communities, all they care about is the amount of money they can rake in. And we got another comment from you guys right here. My number one requirement when buying a house was that it would not be in an HOA. And I've talked about it before with you guys where I live. A lot of areas where I live, honestly, the majority are all HOAs, so it's tough to avoid. And then in turn, some of these non-HOA homes are very expensive because they're super desirable. So you're basically stuck in a lose-lose situation. But we can move on to a couple clips with people who are tired of dealing with this and are starting to fight back.
Does anyone have a creative way to take care of an HOA Karen? Because our house is nothing special, but we keep it clean. It looks nice. And a lady just came by and took a picture of that. And I came down to the street and I was like, hey, good morning. How are you doing? Can I help you with something? I saw her taking the picture and she goes, well, you'll be getting a letter in the mail from us. And I was like, well, is there something I can do right now so we don't have to get a letter? And she's like, well, we're just going to send the letter anyways. She could have asked, hey, could you move this table? Is all she had to say. And I would have, yeah, I'd bring it around back. That's no problem. But instead she wants to make a deal about it. So if she wants to play games, we can play games. Let me know, what are your best ways to do an HOA Karen? Because I got time today.
Take a picture of her car, use AI to make it look like she's parking all crazy, and send it to the board. They won't know it's AI, and she'll have to prove it's not her. She'll go the non-emergency line every time you see anyone taking pictures of your house or a neighbor's house to report it as a suspicious person. Get a picture of her taking the pictures of anybody's house and post it to the neighborhood Facebook and next door groups with the caption, "Does anyone know who the creep taking pictures is?" Or has anyone seen the elderly woman taking pictures of everyone's houses? Does she need mental help, or is it maybe a nursing home nearby? And is she lost? But we can just move on over to the next one. I don't even know how this guy did it, but it must have drove the HOA absolutely insane.
My HOA got because they said my car was trashy, so I decided to rent a limo and park it in the driveway. But then I got an email saying that vehicles can't extend out of the driveway, so I decided to bring over the Juggernaut truck, in which my HOA replied that all vehicles must be painted. So I decided to swap it out for the Batmobile, which is painted black, but I actually felt bad because it was waking my neighbors up every morning. So I decided to switch it out with the armored paint truck and park that at my house instead, in which the HOA replied saying no commercial vehicles could be parked in driveways. Then I remembered I have a jet-powered Prius, so I parked that in the driveway, but after a day or two, I noticed the jet engine started rusting. So I decided to wrap my other truck with the brightest neon orange possible, and now my HOA is called the cops, so follow for part 2 and see what I put in the driveway next.
I don't even know where he could have gotten a majority of these vehicles, but it is still pretty funny at the end of the day. And we got another comment for you guys. As a non-American, the entire idea of HOAs is insane to me. Because of course this is common around the world, we just found another way to siphon off even more money from your pockets. And in some cases making you pay even if you get absolutely no benefits.
If you were told the gate to your gated community was going to be back here, and then if you had all these houses, then they put the gate here and left 6 houses, would you think it's fair that you're required to pay 100%? So again, our property line, it was never disclosed that this whole chunk here was going to get ripped out. Because this road is going to get widened. So the road's going to come out to about here, and it's going to be a major roadway that connects through town. So while my neighbors behind the gate are going to be closed off from the general public, like it states in the covenant, us 6 houses are going to be on this major roadway that's going to connect through town.
And another situation where you're kind of screwed. They even put in the captions, "We've been fighting this for 5 years, can't afford to move, and can't sell. No one will buy." I definitely wouldn't want to. And too late to sue the developer. So what are you supposed to do? We got another comment here. This is what nothing and be happy means. They're making owning real estate so expensive, people don't want to own their homes anymore. Because like I said earlier, most of these houses with the HOAs aren't cheap either. You're paying $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 for the property, and then you're getting hit with HOA fees that only seem to increase in time.
My HOA is foreclosing on everybody's house. So, if you guys remember last year, I came to tell you guys that my HOA was threatening to pull in on my home and start the foreclosure process over a $22,000 assessment that I refused to pay. My HOA had been wanting to do some construction on all of the homes, and this was something that was well underway before I purchased my home. I ended up finding out through meeting minutes and talking with neighbors that not only was this something that was planned as far back as 2022, but neighbors who purchased their home around the same time as we did get a disclosure that there was a siding project that was slowly approaching. I am allegedly one of 2 people who did not get that notice according to my HOA, and so my HOA said that I could pay them the money back on a monthly basis for the next 5 to 10 years. I declined. I don't think that I should have to pay anything for this. So I knew, I've been getting a lot of letters, I've been working through this, but I knew that they were trying to come after me, put a lien on my home, etc. However, a new person came knocking at the door. It was the construction company. The construction company is now saying that the HOA, my HOA board, is not, and they did not receive all of their money, and the houses have been done for months. Like, I'm saying, like, for months. And apparently, they didn't get all their money. And so now, they're putting a lien on the homes, which that process, I think, has been done today.
It's time to audit your HOA. And we've seen examples in older videos where HOAs were taking money to do whatever they want, just charging more and more money possibly for construction or a new pool. It never ends up being made, and they eventually get busted for taking all the cash. I mean, we got another example here where I wouldn't doubt something similar is happening. But you better believe that everybody living in that apartment complex is paying $1,200 a year on top of the rent. As a board member in a condo, you as a resident can request a copy of the budget and spending. They must be able to show receipts and where the money is allocated, because it doesn't look like too much is going to repairs. And we got another one up on screen, $500 a month for HOA, and I still don't know where the money is going. $6,000 a year for this. It's local news station time, landlords' pockets. Report them to the IRS, they'll be investigated, and the creator adds a comment, I can make a whole series about this HOA. It is insane how common this problem is.
Be very careful where you buy a house. I have this property in Thailand that I'm trying to sell for 4 years maybe that I can't sell because of the mortgage. Not because my property is not attractive to buyers, not because there's anything wrong with my property. The reason I can't sell that is because the HOA is shit. They don't have any reserves, they don't have any financials, they cannot provide any documentation for a lender in order to clear the property bonds. First of all, they're not on the FHA approved condo list, right? Then, again, with no budgets, even the conventional loan require you to submit a budget to show the health of the HOA. They don't have that. I don't know what's going on with the liability insurance. It's just, and I want to sell that property so bad, but I can't now.
I really don't know how this would be allowed at all, but I know there's been a ton of issues when it comes to condos, especially if you look at Florida. The HOAs are unbelievably high, even though the buildings are still deteriorating. The tenants don't want to live there anymore, they can't afford it, they're trying to sell it, but obviously there's no buyers, because why would you want to put yourself in that situation? So then, once again, you're just stuck.
So today I went to go look at the little clubhouse that I can have my kids party at where I live. I'm a part of 3 HOA at 3 HOAs. This is one of them. And I was talking to my mom and I was telling her like, oh, it's X amount to have it for X amount of hours, blah, 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 blah. She's like, isn't it kind of crazy that you're paying to rent a building you already paid to maintain? And an HOA you paid to be a part of. That is kind of crazy, huh?
But I guess most people just don't think about it. They just keep paying month after month, even though it doesn't seem worth it whatsoever. My HOA charges us monthly for our cars being parked in our driveway because they want them in the garage. I would never move anywhere that has an HOA. I even have friends that have homes that they bought for over $1 million with HOA rules and fees. It's absolutely insane. Now, I see that happening a lot more with the wildly overpriced new construction builds, the giant cardboard mansions that they're propping up in record time, trying to sell these things for $1 million or $2 million, and then on top of it, you still have to deal with an HOA. If you truly have that kind of money, why would you ever want to do that?
So here's another reason that HOAs are complete scams. So we pay HOA dues every month, and it's only gone up every year, and they do less and less. So they don't even do the landscaping. They say they do, but if you want it done properly, they're asking for all kinds of extra money. So you actually have to do it yourself. Check this out. So they won't cut these bushes. They're really badly maintained, and this monkey grass, they will not touch it unless you pay them $250.
But I can guarantee if you took it into your own hands and ripped out those bushes, they would lose their minds. Instead, they'd much rather extort you for a couple $100 extra. It's just unreal.
If you're wondering why kids don't play outside anymore, it might be because of your HOA. My niece and her friends tried to build a fort in the woods and you couldn't even see from all the supplies back on the front porch of their house. My mom can't have an above-ground pool in her neighborhood because it's unsightly, even though they require privacy fences. So yeah, kids probably don't play outside as much as they used to.
Straight up, teens get cops called on them for going on walks. It's terrible. Not just the HOAs. As a teenager, I got the cops called on me and several friends for playing capture the flag at a nearby public park. It wasn't past curfew and we didn't violate any laws, but it resulted in us no longer doing outdoor activities. I bet those people that ruin kids' fun are the same people that say kids never play outside these days. I swear it's like they don't want any evidence of people actually living in their own neighborhoods.
What's the worst thing that your HOA has ever done to you? Because mine tried to sue me over this window. 2 years ago, we were replacing our windows. We spent like $12,000 replacing all of the windows in our house. I did all the paperwork. I went through my HOA. I followed all of the rules. And then I get a notification that this grid pattern is not the right one. I'm going back and forth with the board. I made a PowerPoint presentation. I sent it over to the board. I'm going around the neighborhood neighborhood, and I'm seeing there's 72 other homes that look just like mine with the exact same window pattern. My HOA manager is still telling me I can't have this window. Replace it.
My HOA did not allow color curtains. They had to be white. There was also a mysterious fire set that the HOA got a huge insurance settlement that was given to the board, who was also the builder. Huh, interesting. And then there were a couple odd comments from the creator, I can't stand HOA, and then they respond, I do like that we have a community pool. Legally, I think I'm supposed to say I love HOAs now. And this is why I'll never buy an HOA, and they respond again, fair, but we do have a community pool, so that's appreciated. I don't know about you, but a community pool isn't worth all the headache we've seen in this video.
I just think it's gonna get all stolen, you know?
There's a lot of reasons to hate HOAs. There's an HOA that just came out and said you have to leave your garage door open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Imagine that. You have to leave the garage door with all of your stuff in there open 5 days a week. Just saying, hey, please come rob me. Come take everything out of my garage. Kids' bikes, whatever else. And the reason that they say this is a good rule is because they had some folks who were turning their garages into an extra bedroom. To combat that, they've made everyone else's lives miserable.
There was an HOA back east who wanted a couple to remove their ramps for their handicapped foster son. I remember watching that clip in an older video. If I bought a house and they made that rule change like this, I'd refuse and get lawyers involved. I'm pretty sure this clip did do the rounds on news stations as well, so hopefully this was stopped, but still just absolutely ridiculous.
You are not going to believe this. We sell this house to this couple in an HOA, and they're in their 30s. Everybody else in the neighborhood is over 55. The builder finishes up, and the HOA has a meeting and puts a deed restriction in the HOA CCRs that to purchase you have to be 55. Now, my people are already in. They can't take their house away from them. But my people now want to sell their house, and there's this deed restriction in place. There's never a problem until there's a problem. But you're in an HOA, and the people controlling that HOA have now absolutely hindered, number one, your ability to sell it, and number two, the value of it.
So they basically turned it into a 55 and older community after you already moved in. And now your pool for possible buyers of the home just got drastically smaller. I'd sue the HOA for the difference in market value. Can this be litigated? It feels like this deed restriction after the fact negatively impacts not just the seller, but all other potential sellers. Now we're going to finish off this video with, in my opinion, a pretty odd one, but we're just going to run the clip and explain it after.
So this HOA notice says it's not the trampoline, it's the cover. Because it's bright blue, ducks might interpret it as water, and if one tries to land, that's a liability event that we're responsible for ducks.
No, we are not banning trampolines. What we're saying is that a bright blue cover placed under an active flight path creates an attractant for waterfowl. If your equipment imitates a lake, you assume responsibility for any attempted landing and disruption.
Okay, so yet again, a crazy clip, but when we go over to the description of this video, it says the creator labeled this as AI generated. So looking at this account, it's nothing but HOA stories that are AI. HOA meetings you wish weren't real, satire, real HOA rules, real funny, but AI-assisted realism. So I guess that means the problems and situations might have happened, but the videos are completely fake. And going into any one of these comment sections, nobody has any idea that this is AI. It's just normal comments back and forth talking about whatever situation that happened. Is this the future we're going to have to deal with when it comes to short-form videos, or really any videos? Because it's not like there aren't a plethora of other examples that we've seen throughout this episode. So I don't know, this one was pretty odd to me, but that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Of Meta's overall profit from 2024 came from scam advertising.
More than 2.4 million cars on the road right now have fake mileage, and the problem is getting worse.
We have a warning about a relatively new scam that's draining bank accounts of thousands upon thousands of dollars.
So today we got another installment in the anti-scam series on this channel. To be honest, we're going to be a bit all over the place because we have a ton of different scams to go through, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with yet another example of somebody getting tricked into thinking that they're talking to a celebrity online.
This woman left her husband when she thought she was dating actor Dacre Montgomery. See what happens.
He tells me that he's Dacre Montgomery. That's like one of my favorite actors. And me and him just really hit it off, but of course I'm suspicious from the get-go until he starts doing things that make me believe that he is who he is. I am obsessed with Stranger Things. Billy is just this bully. He kind of comes in, tries to dominate, which is totally unlike his actual personality.
What's the reason that you guys aren't able to meet face to face?
Well, see, okay, that's one thing that we actually bonded over. And basically through the relationship, he was venting to me after a few months about his partner.
Okay, so we're cutting it off there. You know where this is headed. I just have to go back to what she said. You know, he was a bully in the show, but that's not like his real personality, even though you weren't actually talking to him. But we can go over to the comment section. How are people still falling for this? Almost 90,000 likes. Thank God me and Zendaya have never had this issue. Oh, man. I can't believe Catfish got canceled. That show was peak. And especially in today's world where they're rebooting everything just to get some more people to watch, I'm amazed they didn't immediately bring it back because apparently it was canceled in 2025. I feel like you get a pretty sizable audience watching people who think that they're talking to celebrities, because this is becoming increasingly more common. And the other thing that I'd like to add on to it, I know everybody's probably thinking of the Brad Pitt AI scam, where a woman in her mid-50s gave away $600,000 or $800,000, I can't remember, to a scammer. And everybody starts saying, you know, that's what could happen to old people. I'd never get tricked, but I don't know about you. She didn't look that old in the clip. And we got another picture up on screen that goes very well with this. Just thinking about the one time I went to McDonald's and gave the lady at the drive-thru my debit card, and she asked me for the PIN, so I gave her my debit card PIN. And she looked at me like I was stupid, and she goes, I wasn't talking to you. And then she proceeds to give me a lecture on how I need to be more careful about giving that kind of stuff out. Again, not an old person on the screen. It does not matter what age you are. Everybody's getting scammed in today's world.
Hey, just a horrifying heads up. 10% of Meta's overall profit from 2024 came from scam advertising. So if you're on Facebook, Instagram, or anything like that, you think, oh, I'm going to purchase something. Don't.
I assume that 95% of what I see on social media is either a scam or AI, and to be clear, Meta knows that they're scams, but are obviously choosing not to remove them because they are so profitable. I worked in the fraud department at a bank. Facebook ads were half of my calls. And we have a perfect example in the next clip of what kind of scams you would see on social media.
This Lobster Lady account blocked me, so I couldn't tell you that they're AI. But that didn't stop me. This sob story format is really popular with AI scams right now. Even as a black woman, I have more faith that white women will save. This is not run by a black woman. Just like that's not a real Republican. Why is she making the bags at the market? And the tax structure is extremely messed up if you look closely. This links to lobsterbags.com, a website that was registered 4 days ago, so we don't know where it came from. The website looks a lot like the dragon bags that I talked about a few days ago. I wouldn't be surprised if this is run by the same company, and that's why they preemptively blocked me. These aren't real products. The handle is sticking straight up, defying physics. In this one, the number 14 is repeated twice, and here, that ruler doesn't make sense. It goes from 8 to 0 to 11. And these are just made with Nano Banana. They have Synth ID watermarks, which you can ask Google Gemini for to prove that these aren't real. Even though they're joking about it, you could literally get a lobster bag that looks like this if you order from them, because there's no sign that anything is real here.
The Belt Buckle Girl is the same setup. Henry Coleman 17 as well. Yep, the Save My Horse Farm or my grandpa's slipper business are insane. So there are a whole network of accounts in various different niches that are basically running the exact same scam. But in today's world of social media swiping, nobody actually looks to see if anything is real nowadays. You just read a headline, pay attention for a couple seconds, and swipe on to the next post. And that's how people are getting scammed out of a almost $100 bag that'll never come.
More than 2.4 million cars on the road right now have fake mileage, and the problem is getting worse. According to new data from Carfax, odometer rollbacks have jumped by 14%, with an estimated 2.45 million vehicles in the United States currently showing incorrect mileage. That is a massive problem for used car buyers because obviously mileage is one of the biggest factors determining a vehicle's value. When someone manipulates an odometer, it can make a car appear far more valuable than it really is. Carfax estimates that odometer fraud costs American consumers over $1 billion every year, and in many cases, it can inflate a vehicle's price by around $4,000 or more. And when it comes to modern digital odometers, well, they haven't eliminated the problem either. And in some cases, scammers now use electronic mileage blockers, small devices that plug into the vehicle's electronics and prevent miles from being recorded while the vehicle is being driven. The fraud tends to show up most often with older used vehicles or cars that have changed owners multiple times. I know it's a big thing in kind of the exotic scene, but that's why experts recommend always checking a vehicle history report and looking closely for gaps or inconsistencies in mileage records, because when the miles aren't real, the problems hiding underneath, they usually are.
I'm a victim, but lawyers don't want to take my case on a 37,000 mile rollback. This is basically every car on Facebook Marketplace. I got scammed in one car I bought that had 63,000 miles. I started having issues with it, and the mechanic said they shouldn't have the issues with the miles on it, and recommended me to do a Carfax. I found out my car has 278,000 miles. I feel like the interior by itself would show the wear of the vehicle as a whole, so I don't really know about that one, but it's still happening with brand new cars. It's not just the older ones you have to look out for now.
We have a warning about a relatively new scam that's draining bank accounts of thousands upon thousands of dollars.
It is powered by AI, but in a way we haven't seen until now. Nydia Han joins us in the studio to explain how the scammers are pulling this one off. Nydia.
Yeah, this is crazy, you guys, but it is our new reality. You might remember this movie, The Truman Show. Jim Carrey plays Truman Burbank, a guy who doesn't realize he's living his entire life on a big soundstage for a reality TV show. Well, this newest scam is called The Truman Show Scam because criminals create an entirely fake AI world and have unsuspecting consumers step right into it. It begins with a message inviting you to join an investment group that promises great returns.
That then takes them into a group chat on Telegram or WhatsApp. And this is where the Truman Show reference comes in. The entire environment or group chat that they come into is completely AI generated. There's no real people in it.
Another person saying who's falling for this, I mean, enough for it to be on the news. As soon as anyone mentions Telegram or WhatsApp, I assume it's a scam. Honestly, so do I. If anyone is promising you money, it's a scam. And we got a comment from you guys right here. I'm from Romania. I have a friend who sent all her money to some scammers because her bank account was apparently in danger. This kind of stuff is truly never ending. But now we can get into the MLM portion of this video.
This is how much money my husband and I spent when we were in an MLM for 9 years. Weekly, we spent $100 for a babysitter full training session we went to every single week. The first of every month, we had a subscription to buy products. We weren't really buying products, we were buying points. The standard was 300 points, which equals $1,000. 5 times a year, we had conferences that were $100 average each ticket. Then we have the hotel room, let's just say average or on the low end, $300 for the weekend. Flights or gas, we always drove because it was cheaper. They $200 for gas. Babysitters on the low end because they were like friends to us. But we still want to pay them, so we gave them $350 for the weekend. So that's $1,050 per conference 5 times a year. So that's $437 every month for the conferences. Trainings were $10 a person. $250 a month for a subscription to some apps where you can message each other within the group and listen to audios, like podcasts. $100 a month to buy books for us to read, but also to give to other people. Every person that we interviewed that was potentially going to become a part of the team, we give a book to.
Okay, I'm cutting it off here. This video goes on and on. Apparently, they spent $30,000 a year in Amway, and they did it for 9 years. They lost almost $300,000. I've legitimately never seen an Amway product in anyone's home, neither have I. And then we have this whole story in the comments from somebody trying to defend it. I'm in Amway right now, you guys. You don't have the patience and drive to be able to be successful. And I think the reply perfectly sums it up. Oh, you're 19. You'll learn one way or another. Because I actually have my own experience when I was 19 years old, when someone I knew tried to get me into the whole Amway scheme as well. But we'll take a look at a couple clips first.
I mean this so disrespectfully. When are we gonna give it up with the MLMs? So let me set the scene. I'm getting my nails done. Cute, right? I love my nail lady to pieces, okay? I'm getting my nails done. I'm chilling. I'm watching Law & Order. I'm having a great time. And somehow we get chatting about my back, the chiropractor, this and that. And she said that she used to go to a chiropractor, but it was so expensive. And I'm like, yeah, I know, like, it's crazy. And she's like, yeah, I ended up getting this machine. It's good for it. It was like $3,000, but you know, it lasts a lifetime, and you know, it's in place of the whatever. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's quite the machine, right? Anyways, so we're yapping. She go back to her. She goes, yeah, you can use it on your face too. And I'm like, well, how could you use something that you use on your back? I'm like, what kind of machine is this, right? But I'm like, again, I'm trying to relax, get my nails done. So I'm like, okay, I'm letting, so I'm letting her talk about it. I'm listening. I don't think anything of it because I'm like, who gives a shit, right? It's small talk. I don't think anything of it. Next thing I know, pamphlet in front of me. What do you mean? What do you mean you're trying to now sell me an MLM back machine?
When did we stop calling them pyramid schemes? Why are there MLMs at farmers markets now? An MLM still existing in 2025 is wild.
When I was 19, my best friend, who I met in high school, invited me to an event for his new business. He invited me to the office he was working at. And I watched as presenter after presenter told an amazing rags to riches story. And during the meeting, I took out my phone and I looked up the name of the company that was being presented to me. And I saw countless reviews saying, this is a pyramid scheme, scam, etc. I'd only been exposed to this company less than an hour before, and I had the same feeling. Something didn't seem right. Afterwards, my friend came up to me and he had this look in his eye and he was like, so when are you going to sign up? And when I got home, I called him and I said, you know, I looked up this company and I wanted to share some of the things I heard about with you. I don't want you to get hurt by this. And what I was told back was, you're just like everyone else. You don't believe in me. They told me you would say that. And that was the end of my friendship with my best friend of the past 4 years. And it was my introduction to the world of multi-level marketing.
My best friend of over 30 years doesn't speak to me because I told her with proof about Primerica. Never even heard of that one. Many lost their minds to Amway in my hometown. And there's another person who just said Amway with a question mark, and the creator hearted it, so that's probably what he was talking about. And I had a pretty similar story as well. When I was 19, my group of friends would always go out and play soccer, you know, pickup games, night games, whatever. But there was one night where a kid that we played with that we weren't very close friends with invited us to a presentation in somebody else's basement and said that he just wanted to show us a couple of things and then we could go out and play. And they proceeded to give all of us, which was like 10, 15 people, all the BS Amway pitch. And even back then, 19 years old, basically knowing nothing about the real world, nothing about business, I immediately knew something was off. This was super shady, so obviously I didn't take part in it whatsoever. And needless to say, some of the people who did sign up in my hometown do not work for that company anymore, after they ended up inevitably losing a ton of money. So that's the end of my MLM portion of this video, but I wanted to also show you guys a couple accounts that I see online pretty often that I consider to be a scam. 3 things I did to be more profitable as a reseller. Number 1, not being scared to buy new products. There's a lot of competition. Don't sell the same thing as everyone else is. Be different. Well, initially, if this was legitimate, you would need products that people would want. So in the end, many people would be selling the same stuff. If you bought random items just to be different, nobody would want them. Number 2, taking high quality photos. This catches attention and makes the customer confident in purchasing. And number 3, consistency. There's nothing more important than staying consistent. So when we head over to the description of this account, they have a link to personal vendors. And if you don't know what that is, especially all the pictures that we saw with the luxury items in the background, these people buy high quality counterfeit items and sell it to others. This is illegal. Some of these accounts say that they tell customers that they are replicas, others don't at all. So it's just 100% a scam, and it's not even just the luxury bags. I've seen accounts talking about buying fake AirPod Pros and GoPros, I mean random electronics. So if you've seen any of this kind of stuff online, please steer clear. Oh, we got another one up on screen right now. Be careful of fake apartment approval pages and companies. I was scammed by 2 companies from TikTok. Don't do CPNs. It's not worth it. And going straight over to the comment section, yet again, there are a ton of people doing this. There's another one that's scamming people. Her name is Goddess Approval. Atlanta Best Approves is another scam too. I swear, this series will go on until the end of time.
Remember the PPP fraudsters from back in the pandemic? Well, apparently they're still out getting got. Because who would have thought stealing from the government would not lead to some serious criminal charges? So meet Scott Lee Huss, a 28-year-old content creator who built a massive online presence with more than 3 million followers under the name of JR Yako. His entire brand was, about wealth, travel and that whole alpha male Chad lifestyle that you see. So as everyone knows, back in 2020, the government came to a complete halt because of the pandemic, and there they made a whole bunch of programs that enabled business owners and normal people to get some sort of relief. As we've seen time and time again here on this channel even, a whole lot of people extracted a whole bunch of money for their own personal gain, and they spent it on Lambos, Ferraris, and everything that you could flex on Instagram with. What makes all this so much worse is when he finally was arrested, his legal defense involved declaring himself a divine being, demanding a $10 billion bond, and insisting that the United States court system had no power over his flesh and blood.
Yeah, okay, man, have a fun time in jail. I made a couple videos about the PPP loan frauds a long time ago, and it's still funny to see people getting busted for it today. Even though the government moves as slow as humanly possible, if they want to get their money back, they will. We got another comment here. Not only do we have to worry about scams, but we also have to deal with personal data breaches, and I feel like that's probably what happened with this next clip.
At 90 years old, Irving Rosenberg moves slowly. Walking is difficult. His hearing is impaired. But the hardest thing he's dealing with now isn't his health. It's the loss of nearly everything he saved over a lifetime. Rosenberg says the withdrawals from his savings account began in April. Check after check, all in the tens of thousands of dollars, adding up to $814,000. Rosenberg says he never wrote checks from that savings account and never authorized anyone else to either. When he realized what was happening, he went to the bank, Wells Fargo, looking for help.
They put it to investigation. Investigation can go forever.
Rosenberg's nephew, who now helps manage his affairs, contacted 7 on Your Side and asked for help. He says when he looked at copies of the cash checks, he noticed right away the signature was phony.
If you look at all the checks that were written, none of them even have close to his signature.
Rosenberg received this letter from Wells Fargo. The bank said it's denying his fraud claim and that he can't be reimbursed because too much time had passed before he contacted the bank.
So just like that, over $800,000 is gone. I know this one's definitely a generational thing because people around my age use banking apps a lot more, and you'd obviously see the balance every time you use it, and that wasn't the case for him, so all of his money ended up getting drained from checks. Now this next one's a bit recent with a big streamer. If you've ever heard of Kai Cenat, he basically did a 180 on his personality and got super into fashion, has a clothing brand, and of course somebody took advantage of his fans and scammed them all.
Congratulations to Kai, clothing brand almost being sold out. Is what I would say if he actually dropped clothes. You guys are getting scammed by a fake website. And they already deleted the website, bro. Y'all let a fake website take y'all money. You know it's not all y'all fault because these blog pages were posting it. Seems like y'all forgot that you would have got an email from the official website if clothes had dropped. This is some random page that somebody probably from another country created and you guys have been giving your money to. So a lot of y'all really paid $210, $160 for jackets that you're never gonna get. And even though I want to clown on y'all for actually believing this, it's the blog page's fault. They were reposting the website and all. Now some random dude just made a quick, easy 100K off y'all, probably more.
So that's going to be a ton of fun having to deal with all of those chargebacks. But this next clip is a bit similar with one of those hypebeast brands, technically not scamming everyone who bought, but they know exactly what they were doing.
21, a company named Mischief released a basketball signed by Michael Jordan for just $23. The website even said that each basketball would come with a video of Michael Jordan signing it. So the basketball sold out almost instantly, but there was a catch. The balls really were signed and the signing video was real, but when people got their basketballs in the mail, there was a QR code on the box leading to the video, and that's when people found out who it was really signed by.
Hi, I'm Michael Jordan. Thank you for buying my autographed basketball.
So I mean, this one to me is kind of funny because even if you got it, there's no way you actually thought that this was going to be 100% legit. I'm pretty sure a signature from the Michael Jordan that we all know would cost a lot more than $23.
So we just had a trucker show up to take a BMW, and I'm going to tell you why we didn't release the car to them. This is the BMW that did not go. The company we booked it with is Angel Express. Now, companies will often rebroker stuff. We're not okay with it. This is the company who showed up to pick it up. Obvious red flag, not the same company. Well, they had a bill of lading for the vehicle under Angel Express. They did subcontract, double broker it, whatever. The problem is, this vehicle isn't listed on Angel Express's insurance policy. The other issue is this company has 417 different inspections with the DOT but the company's only been in business 2 months and only has 1 truck and 1 trailer registered to their company. So how do they have 417 inspections? Because they're super shady. Companies registered out of Illinois. Truck is plated in Ohio. I know people register their trucks and trailers in all sorts of different states to save on taxes, but typically it's the trailers, not the tractors. We are not sending the car with these people because we want it to actually get delivered to the client. And if there's a problem, we want the insurance to actually pay for the vehicle, which, given all these issues, highly unlikely that we'd be able to have any recourse here.
I wouldn't doubt if they loaded it onto that truck, you would never see that car again. It would be taken for parts or go overseas and just gone. And that happens way more than you think. As a 30-year car hauler, I always tell people that their contract should be written so the company on the contract picks the car up and the same truck delivers the car. No swapping mid-delivery, because that's how it gets stolen. Don't trust any transporter with the taped-on DOT-MC info at all. It did not look official. If anything, it looked very shady, and transports get sketchier every year. Especially the cars constantly going up in price, it becomes more and more lucrative to steal one.
Don't fall prey to this scam that is incredibly common in Florence. Maybe you've already seen this, maybe you haven't, so I'm just gonna say it because I don't like when people get ripped off or harassed on their trip to Italy. I think it's a bad look, and it's not a good time for anyone. So oftentimes these scammers will put fake art, like it's just garbage fake art that they probably print from some free stock website, and they lay it on the ground in highly foot traffic areas so that they're basically counting on people to not be paying attention and looking up and looking at all the sites, and then they accidentally step on the print and then they demand payment for it. So make sure if you're walking around, look where you're going and don't pay them if you step on it. Just run away.
Why would a country allow this to go on day after day when everyone knows it's a scam? And I feel like there's different variations to this in every single touristy country. You just have to be aware 24/7. And we'll finish off this video with a comment from you guys. I haven't heard from the Nigerian prince in a while. I hope he's okay. It's because everything else we've gone over today is way more lucrative than the Nigerian prince. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Our buyers just pulled out. They just canceled, and they dropped and canceled everything.
The U.S. housing market just reached the most unaffordable level in U.S. history.
Why does selling your house feel like you're in a toxic relationship? I'm so tired.
Gen X is not going to be able to sell their homes.
People can't sell their homes right now. They're having the worst luck selling their homes right now. This is not the market to buy, it is the market to rent.
Welcome back to Edwards Economics. My name's Kaylin, and right now there are millions of Americans who are completely stuck. They bought a home, locked in a great under 4% interest rate during the pandemic, and now they simply can't move. They can't sell and they can't downsize. They can't even take a new job in another city. They're financially handcuffed in a house and they don't know what to do about it. The homes that are for sale are sitting on the market for 66 days on average as of February 2026. That's the longest stretch we've seen in years. So what happens when an entire generation of homeowners simply cannot afford to leave? Let's find out.
Our buyers just pulled out. They just canceled, and they dropped and canceled everything. So what happened was, the inspection came back, and they said there was $20,000 in damages inside the house. There was not. They said they needed a new roof, and they were asking for $10,000 for a new roof. And we said, we'll meet you halfway with 5, because there's no leaking, there's no damage, the roof is old. Okay, it's old. The house was built in 2005. You can move into the house, get homeowners insurance, and have a new roof changed, because homeowners insurance will give you a new roof.
Why don't you just do that before selling it, though? You know, little concession, little value add before you sell it for the price that you want. The thing is, you want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to sell it at top dollar price as if nothing is wrong with it when there is something wrong with it. Go ahead and do that work and then sell it for that price, or bring that price down to account for how much they're going to need to spend in order to get that work done. But if it was just so easy, you would have did it yourself.
And they pulled out. They canceled, they dropped everything, they pulled out. We had to drop the price of the house and put it back on the market. We're back to
Imagine if you would have just did that in the first place.
square one. It's just, oh my God, it's been so hard. Bills just keep piling up.
This is day 107 of us trying to sell our home here in Florida, and it is not selling. I know everyone keeps telling me in the comments that it is our price, and I'm telling you guys it is not our price. We've dropped our price 3 times now, but we are lower than everything else on.
It doesn't matter if your house started price too high, like astronomically too high. The 3rd price drop probably got it to probably about normal. So let's start from here and let's see 3 price drops. Took 3 price drops to get you to reality. Now, these next price drops are going to get you to competitive. You know what I mean?
Market. If you guys have any suggestions what else to try, I mean, it's a bigger house, so maybe there's just not families our size that have this. So we're a family of 6, so it's a big house. Yeah, I don't know, maybe there's not people our size, maybe there's people sort of in our price bracket who are trying to move to our area. We're gonna try to get like a professional photographer to come in and kind of stage the house, get the drone, get the 3D imaging, all that stuff, to see if presentation will just get more eyeballs, and then more eyeballs will be more showings will hopefully eventually equal a sale. But man, if you guys have any recommendations, put them down.
There are families of 6 out there, and people who have families of 6 know how much it costs to afford a family of 6. So if they are looking for homes, yours is a candidate. It's the price. Did I say that already?
Our house has been on the market for 16 days, which in hindsight for national average is probably not that long. But why does selling your house feel like you're in a toxic relationship? I'm so tired of packing up my kids and the dogs and leaving this house spotless just to have someone come in. It's like, do you like it? After every showing, I just like sit here and I'm like, all right, is that the one? Is this gonna be it? I need to probably stop thinking that way, because that's probably what is messing with my head. I am so ready for this process to be over. We move the end of this month, and I'm afraid to God every day that someone's gonna buy this.
This is my theory on how things are going to get worse with the housing market. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that's said this, but baby boomers, maybe not baby boomers, Gen X is not going to be able to sell their homes because millennials and Gen Z will not be able to buy their homes. So like my parents, they bought a house in 2004 for $390. It is now worth $1.7 million, which sucks for me, right? It means I cannot buy a home where my parents live, but for them, that's their entire retirement. Like,
it's also your future inheritance.
Everything is that nest egg, is that house, is banking on them selling that house to a millennial or Gen Zer to live on that money. And so I'm wondering if these hedge fund companies and these big corporations that are buying up single family homes, are they going to continue buying the kind of bigger family homes, the more expensive, like a $2 million 4-bedroom home in Los Angeles? I don't know.
I don't know. I think that we underestimate how much debt people are willing to go in to get the things that they want. I also think that some of us aren't aware that there are actually people out here making money, or making enough money to be able to finance that amount. So I just never underestimate what people are willing to do to get the things that they want, and understanding that people always want nicer, bigger, better, faster, cleaner things. So to the extent that your parents' home is something that older millennials and future Gen Z will covet, that is something that they're going to figure out. I'm never surprised at anything financial after running Edwards Economics anymore. I'm just not. People will do what they need to do to get the things that they want 100% of the time. Whether or not that is fiscally responsible is another conversation.
And what is the potential consequence for the housing market if boomers and Gen Xers can't sell their homes for the value that it has been promised?
All right, truth be told, the reason your house is not selling is because you are overpriced. That's it. You missed the market in 2021, 22, 23. You should have sold back then. Well, today you're not going to get what you're asking for if it's been sitting on the market for more than 60 days. You need to become more realistic.
These are the facts. I know realtors. None of us can stand realtors. Coming from a former realtor, can't stand them. So I became one, so I didn't have to use one. Now I'm not one. So I'm going to tell you the real. They're not lying. They're not lying. If you thought you're going to get 2022 prices with these interest rates, no. Because that was like the peak. That was the peak. I bought 2022. Yeah. Wasn't the best deal, but I'm not going anywhere. You know, love my home, not going anywhere. If you bought 2022, you probably didn't gain any equity. If you think that you're going to sell your house for those prices, not likely.
You need to bring the price down. And it's not the pictures, it's not your realtor, it's not the marketing strategy. It's really in the price and timing. And this time is the right time to bring down that purchase price. If you're motivated and you're sincerely looking to sell. And the reason your agent is not telling you, guts or the courage to be honest, to pull new comparables and say, look, this side of town, houses that are selling at this price. Not the price that you're asking for, but at this lower price. If you want to sell, you need to meet that. You need to match that. You need to be working with the...
Ooh, they don't want to hear that, though. They do not want to hear that.
Market. So, yeah. Sorry, I wish I had better news. But you need to bring price reduction house prices. They are coming down, you guys. You're seeing how rates have gone up slightly because of everything that's going on in our world. But with the new Federal Reserve chairman that's coming in this May 2026, we're expecting an awesome next year.
Yeah, because he's going to do exactly what Trump wants him to do. Probably. You know, they're supposed to be independent at the Fed. But they're probably not going to.
As we swore that we would be upfront and honest and open about the good, the bad, the ugly, and all the things in between with this adventure. The truth is, we have listed the house. It has sat on the market for 2 months. We have gotten very little, traction. We've gotten one offer, and they...
We got 4 offers, but we're not...
We got one real offer, and they ended up ghosting their realtor when it came time to put the earnest money down. And the other offers were from investors who lowballed us like 200 grand. So anyways, it's just not a good time in our area to sell. I don't know what the market is where you guys are, but for us, it is horrible, and we are...
I think it's pretty much the same everywhere except for the very highly desirable places to live. There's just certain places that are always going to be hot because people want to live there. But for, somebody like me that's in Texas where there's just land galore, a little bit less building restrictions, so these contractors and building companies can just throw these houses up. There's just so much inventory. They don't have to buy your old home if they are willing to commute just a little bit in order to get a brand new home. The problem that they don't consider, though, is they see the shiny object, not knowing the construction is absolutely awful. So I don't know if y'all have this bias, but whenever I see a new home, it's a yikes for me. It's a yikes for me. So what I would tell my clients to do is just buy an older home. It's built a little different. Put the money in that you're going to save into renovating, remodeling, and sometimes the commute is better on these older homes. It just is, and that's an asset too. The most priceless thing that we have is our time, right? So if you can cut your commute by 15 to 30 minutes because you bought a little closer, an older home, you're going to be happy that you did that, depending on how the neighborhood is, depending on how the schools are, if your kids are going to schools.
Not going to just give our house away. So
we're in it.
So we're in it.
Okay,
After we have sold everything that we own and gotten rid of everything, we have decided to move back in temporarily. Maybe temporarily. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know.
We'll be here through the winter.
Yes. Maybe reevaluate in the spring. Maybe when interest rates come down, we'll have some better luck. We don't really know. But for now, we're back in the house and rebuying some things.
And not rebuying some things.
It's the smartest thing they can do. Your house isn't selling. You don't want to just give it away. You don't want to sell it to a wholesaler who's going to offer you 60% of what it's worth. The only option you have is to Airbnb if you are allowed to do that in your neighborhood, or rent it out if you're allowed to do that in your neighborhood, or just continue living in it. You bought it for a reason. If circumstances didn't change, just stay. If they did and you have like a job out of state, then you're gonna have to sell it for a loss. You just are. But that's the game. So here's the map that nobody wants to talk about, because the typical American homeowner right now is paying about $1,300 a month in principal and interest. If that same person sold their home and bought another one at the current prices and the current rates, their payment jumps to over $2,200 a month. Guys, that is a 73% increase in housing costs just for the privilege of moving. And that's the mortgage lock-in effect in a nutshell. Academic research out of Harvard and the Federal Reserve estimates that this single phenomenon has removed over 1 million homes for sale from the market and pushed prices roughly 5 to 6% higher than they otherwise would have been. You're not imagining it, guys. There's not inventory because people simply weren't moving. The market is broken, and the low rates that were supposed to help people are now the cage that's keeping them in place. Now, I do want to be fair, actually fine. They'll say that the lock-in effect is fading. They'll point to data that shows that the further we get from the pandemic, more homeowners are carrying rates that are above 6%, which means that the gap between their old rate and the new rate is narrowing. By early 2026, the share of mortgage holders above 6% is roughly equal to the share below 6%. So yes, for some people, the incentive to stay put is shrinking. But here's where I think that argument falls apart. The people who are most stuck are not the ones with 6% mortgages. The people who are the most stuck are families with 2.8, 3.1, 3.2% rates who bought at the absolute bottom. I recently spoke to a family member who has a 2% interest rate mortgage, and they want to move, but it just doesn't make sense. So they're thinking about renting it out, but they're not really prepared to be a landlord, so they don't even know what to do. For them, the gap between their current payment and what they would pay tomorrow is not narrowing. And it's those families that I don't believe are a tiny slither of the market. There are tens of millions of them, and they're not moving until rates drop dramatically or their life circumstances force their hand. Meanwhile, the people who are trying to sell are literally getting crushed. Nearly 20% of new home listings had a price cut in the last quarter of 2025. Nationally, 62% of homes are selling below asking price, and the delistings keep climbing because sellers would rather pull their home off the market entirely than accept a loss that they weren't prepared for. Proverbs 22:3 really speaks to this, as it says that the prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. That verse has never been more relevant than to the housing market right now. The danger signals are everywhere. Inventory is building. Buyers are not showing up at these prices and at these rates. Yet, the sellers keep listing their homes at 2022 prices, expecting 2022 demand that simply doesn't exist anymore. If you're sitting on a low mortgage rate right now, here's what you need to understand. The rate itself is the asset, not necessarily the home. I know that sounds so backwards, but y'all, in this hyperinflationary environment that we're in, that they're not saying is hyperinflation, but it kind of is, The rate is the asset. It's not a reason to feel trapped per se. It's a financial advantage that tens of millions of people would trade you for in a heartbeat. You could assign your mortgage rate over to them or your mortgage rate over to them and just take it over. People would love that. If your house works for your family, just stay in it. Pay it down aggressively and build equity while everyone else is scrambling to figure out what their next moves are. If you genuinely feel the need to sell, price it right from the start. Usually the first offers you get are the best, and this is coming from a former realtor. Don't chase those 2022 comps. They're not really that accurate anymore depending on where you live. The market has told you over and over and over again that those numbers are done. Look at the 66 days on the market number. Look at the record delistings that we're seeing. Price to sell in 30 days or accept that your home will sit there collecting dust.
Y'all, my husband and I are listing a house in what the Wall Street Journal dubbed the worst market in America.
Austin.
We're listing our house in Southwest Florida.
Oh.
And the Wall Street Journal says it's the worst time in America for any seller to sell a house in that market. So, you know, I'm a real estate agent myself. I get the question a lot, is this a bad time for me to sell? And I just turn around and look at the person and say, you know, are you happy where you are? Can you afford to sell? Is your home or where you are in life or what you're doing working for you right now as it is? And if the answer is no, if this isn't working for you, then it's not the worst time for you to sell. This house isn't working for us anymore, so she's going on the market.
Like, it's just wonky right now. I just came back from a conference where I spoke to realtors from all over the US, and it sounds like it's very similar all over. The issue that we're facing right now is that the interest rates are higher than they've been in a long time. There's been inflation, and it just seems like people's wages and salaries just have not gone up with it. So a lot of first-time home buyers aren't qualifying for a mortgage. And then you got the people who are already locked in at like a 2, 3, 4% loan that are like, yeah, no, I'm not selling, which, like, how can you blame them? And then you get people who just want to wait to buy until the market crashes. It's just a weird, like, it's a weird market right now. Do I see it changing anytime soon? No. I see the rates continuing to go up.
Can't sell their homes right now. They're having the worst luck selling their homes right now. This is not the market to buy, it is the market to rent. I know it sounds crazy, but right now it is more flexible, more feasible, and it's just smarter to rent right now. The average length of time that a house is sitting on the market right now is about 3 months. 3 months. Some houses have been sitting longer than that because the market is vastly different than it was a year ago. Just a year ago. Like, people are losing their shit trying to sell their homes right now. And some people are selling just to go back to renting. So right now it's not smart to buy. If you planned on buying right now, you might want to rethink that, because buying right now is just not it. If you're selling, it is just not it. Like, a lot of people are starting to rent out their homes because it's just more cost efficient to make that money back and pay on their mortgage or pay on their property taxes and whatnot than actually selling their home, because they can't sell it. People can't sell their homes right now.
Be very careful where you buy a house. I have this property in Atlanta that I'm trying to sell for 4 years maybe, that I can't sell because of the HOA. Not because my property is not attractive to buyers, not because there's anything wrong with my property. The reason I can't sell that is because the HOA issue. They don't have any reserves, they don't have any financials, they cannot provide any documentation for a lender in order to clear the property proposed. First of all, they're not on the FHA approved condo list, right? Then, again, with no budgets, even a conventional loan requires you to submit a budget to show the health of the HOA. They don't have that. I don't know what's going on with the liability insurance. It's just, and I want to sell that property so bad, but I can't now. So when I put the property on the market a couple of years ago, I listed it for $239. I put a lot of money into that property. Got 2 or 3 offers. The first one was FHA. We tried doing a special approval thing. That didn't work because they couldn't provide a budget. They didn't have a budget. So I was like, okay, we can only accept conventional loans. Conventional loan came, they still can provide the basic information that Fannie Mae requires in order for them to underwrite the loan. Couldn't even do that. So I lost those buyers. Then I eventually pulled the property off the market because I was like, I'm not doing this. Right, so I put the property off the market and I put it on Airbnb.
Can't do that.
I monitor the market. Because now they can only accept cash buyers and investors, the prices of that community has just dropped because people that want to sell and are desperate to sell have to reduce their price to get an investor, to get someone that's buying it all cash, that's not going to be requiring financing to buy. And so the price went down from, you know, what I had mine listed for, but now they're selling for $165. $150, I've even seen some of them trying to sell for. And again, it's because of the HOA. The HOA is $315 a month. Them don't do nothing. The gate has been broken for years. To get to use the pool, the community pool, are you paying HOA fees for every month? You have to have a security clearance because they have like a sign or somebody that's manning the pool that you have to show that you live there for residency. It's just stupid, and I want to get out so bad. The takeaway for this is if you're buying into a community that has an HOA, particularly a condo or a townhouse, look because when it's time to sell, if there's anything like this over here, it's a headache.
So look, the frozen housing market is not some mystery. It's just math. Low rates created these golden handcuffs that we just can't get off. High prices created a wall that we simply can't get over. And the results are a generation of homeowners who are stuck and a generation of buyers who are simply priced out. Something is gonna have to give. The one thing I want you to take away from this video though is simple. Don't make a permanent financial decision based on a temporary emotion. Whether you are a buyer that's feeling desperate or a seller who's feeling stubborn, the numbers do not care about your feelings. They never have and they never will. But you know who does care about you? Me. And that's why I want you to subscribe at edwardseconomics.com because that's where I go a little bit deeper with more unfiltered thoughts and biblical application that I can't always give here on YouTube. If you haven't already, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel and share this with someone you know who's sitting on a house that they simply can't sell or they're wondering if they should do it. If you have a story about trying to sell in this market, go ahead and drop it down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video again. I pray the Lord blesses you, that he keeps you, that he lifts his face towards you, that he turns his countenance towards you, that he gives you favor, and that he gives you peace.
I don't know how much taxes that y'all got, but maybe I'm blessed. Thank ya.
I got my taxes today and they're basically already gone.
I got my tax return yesterday and the whole thing is gone today. The whole thing is gone today. There's nothing left. And I'm a single mom with 2 kids, so you already know.
Welcome back to Edwards Economics. My name's Kaylin, and the IRS just told us the average tax refund for 2026 came out to almost $3,700. That's up almost 11% from last year. Families are getting bigger checks than they've had in years. So the question that naturally follows is, what exactly did people do with their tax refund money? That, my friend, is what we're going to be answering in today's video. So what in the world are people really doing with their tax refunds in 2026? Let's find out.
I got my taxes today and they're basically already gone. My rent is $1,620 and I paid 2 months of rent and then I paid my phone bill. My phone bill is $280. And then so I paid my phone bill and then I paid off the 3 phones on it. And then I paid my power bill. I paid my gym membership, which was where I just came from, that's why I'm so sweaty. I put money aside for both my kids' birthdays because I have one birthday in March and one in May. I put money aside for both of them clothes for spring and summer. I bought groceries and then I put a little bit in savings and then I put a little bit in both my kids' savings account. That's pretty much the whole tax return. Ever since I had kids though, this is literally how I always spend my tax return. I always try to pay my rent up. I always try to pay my bills up and buy clothes the next size up for the next season. That way I can be caught up throughout the year. That way throughout the year I'm not like falling behind, not struggling. Last year I didn't get a tax return and then the year before that I had to use my tax return for moving. So this is the first year in a few years I got to actually use it to like just catch up, just breathe. So I'm really excited about that because it definitely gives me a little chance to breathe and not feel like I'm falling behind or struggling all year.
I got my tax return yesterday and the whole thing is gone today. The whole thing is gone today. There's nothing left. And I'm a single mom with 2 kids, so you already know I got some bread. And it's gone. So this is a sign to pay your debts. Pay your debts. Because if you don't pay them now, you're going to have to pay the piper later. You're going to have to pay it whenever you get the bag. And here's the thing, I'm glad that I got the money this way and
But, I mean, a lot of y'all are in debt because it's not making enough. So it's like, there's stuff that you need, so you went into debt in order to like cover it, and then once a year you get the tax refunds, and that just brings you back up to current. So there is just something to be said about them not having jobs that pay enough, or there not being jobs that are paying enough in order for you to pay your expenses. But being a single mom, like, it was never meant to be that way, you know? You're just trying to make it work, not trying to, you know, give her a way out, but like, let's be honest. It's just her and 2 kids. That's a lot of mouths to be feeding, you know? Kind of hard to get ahead when you're in that situation.
just paid it with them because that was stressful knowing, like, my phone ringing all the time, all these unknown numbers calling. You already know. You already said don't let any unknown numbers even let the phone ring, because that shit would ring 6 times a day. But I paid off 6 collection accounts. I brought my credit cards down, so the utilization on the credit cards are each at 75%. They should be under 30%, but they're at 75%. I got $1,500 set aside in savings for the new apartment, and I still, you know, got some cash from what I had before in my bank account, and I'm not stressing because it's done. Like, discipline in the time, it hurts, and boy, it hurt. Like, it was nice to see that money, and then it was like bam, 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 gone, 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 gone. But it feels like a weight is lifted off my shoulders. So this is just your sign to just take your tax money and do what you know you need to do with it, even though it fucking sucks. Even though it sucks. Y'all, look at me. This all me, Bookie Butt. This all me, Bookie Butt. New car. Yeah. Yeah, clap for your mama, boy. He said, everybody clap for your mama. Yo, go get a pussy.
What I'm gonna buy with my tax return. First things first, we're gonna start my husband's immigration process. No, he didn't come here illegally. Yes, it's expensive. Initially, we're probably gonna spend like $3,000, and for the whole process, we're probably gonna spend like $6,000. That's why we haven't started it yet. Second thing, a stove, a new stove. I have a stove at the house, but last time we tried to make tamales on it, and we burnt one of the burners, and it only had 2 already, so we burnt one of them. It's always been like that. Like, I've had that stove for years and years, but it was just me and my son, so I never really, you know, had to buy another one because I wasn't cooking for like a lot of people. But now it's like 5 of us in the house, so yeah, we made the tamales, burned one of our burners, so now we're down to 1. But that's why I'm gonna buy a new stove. Third, a king bed frame. For paint, I want to buy enough paint to paint my room, and then the living room and the kitchen. So it's gonna be a lot. I feel like it's gonna be, you know, a pretty penny. And then, oh, the stove fan. The stove fan comes with, you know, the electric stove. That thing from de arriba that goes on top. You know what I mean. And then some couches.
So this is how I spent $10K on my low income apartment. I paid my rent up for 4 months. I paid my car note up for a few months. I also paid my lights up. I got new everything, new security system, big TVs, redid my whole bathroom. I like to create his daddy thing. I saw it on TikTok. My room, I redid that, bigger bed, nice TV on the wall. And I'm just loving it. My rent is only $700, so I was able to do that. Redid my son's whole entire room. He thinks I do have a son with a traumatic brain injury, so he deserves the best.
We got our tax refund. Yes, it was deposited, and here's everything we did with it as a family who is tired of living paycheck to paycheck and wants to breathe a little bit, and who
wants to start a savings account. So for starters, we paid off my vehicle. I have a Jeep Renegade, and we owed $2,800 on it. Paid. Proof. We paid all of my Affirm off, which was because I'm saving interest by paying it all now. Instead of $900 some dollars, I only paid $816 and some change. Proof. My husband, I don't have proof of his, but I did watch him physically pay all of his off this morning, which was another like $830. And he also got on and made the payments to pay off the loan we had to take out the beginning of last year, which we owed $3,500 left on that, which brought us into $79.55, which left us roughly $160 left over, which I did kind of split. So like my husband got some spending money, I got some spending money, and then there were some extra things that I needed to get. But paying all of that off has now freed up about $700 a month that we will be able to allocate towards other things. And the only other debt we have is our 2 credit lines through our bank.
Let's go.
And my husband's care credit card, which we used for his tooth extraction and my dog. So here's to living a little bit more comfortably and being able to breathe and not stress finances every single second of my life.
I love this for them. I'm so proud of them. I don't even know them, but I'm proud of them. It's hard to make a plan and stick to it, especially when it comes to money, because it just has this way of never being enough, never having enough. But when you increase that margin, $700 a month, go them. Go them.
What I spent my taxes on, part 2, replacing my couches that my children's destroyed. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I was going to drop $1,400 at Costco for brand new couches because I was scared to buy used. 10 years ago, I had a really traumatic experience when I thought I bought a brand new mattress from a furniture store, okay? And I ended up having a bedbug infestation because it turns out they used recycled materials. Roaches and bedbugs is a legit fear of mine, and I rebuke it in Jesus' name. But I ended up having to blow my savings and throw every piece of furniture that I owned out because I was paranoid. So I am hesitant to buy used furniture unless it's from somebody that we know. With that being said, y'all, these couches are from Living Spaces. Louis Bougie, y'all. If you know, you know. They were in excellent condition. We still washed everything just because, but we had to go to the laundromat since my plumbing is backed up, y'all, and shampooed the upholstery. And we only paid $300. Ooh, this is nice. There's no roaches here or anything. I also spent $30 on the little storage basket and the cute little bunny pillow on the couch because it was super cute, and I'm just a girl.
I keep seeing posts about how people are spending their income tax, so I thought I would share, as someone who's a freak about money, because you're broke, how I am spending my income tax money. Now, this is just my income tax alone. This is not Dan's. Dan and I are not married, and so we have to file taxes separately. And so, yeah, this is just how we're spending mine. The first thing we did was pay off my daughter's braces. This was $165 that we were having to spend a month, and now we don't have to worry about that bill at all because it's paid off. The second thing we paid off was our car insurance. We had a remaining balance up until the end of the year, which is in July, so our car insurance is paid off until July. The next thing we paid off was my daughter's lunch account until the end of the year, so we don't have to worry about paying for school lunch, which is actually really expensive. The next thing we did was we were leasing our van, and now we're going to be buying our van, which is super exciting. But we put a down payment, a hefty down payment down to make our monthly payment cheaper while we buy out our van. There are a couple of things that we're going to be buying with my income tax. The first thing is a new bed. My mattress is like 10 years old, okay? And it's causing physical pain to Dan and I to sleep on it, so we decided it's time to get a new bed. We also set aside some money because we really want to put a gazebo up in our backyard, so that way the kids and I have some shade. We don't have a porch or a deck or anything in our backyard, so there's no shade in our backyard at all. And the side of the street we're on, the sun just shines straight into my yard, which is great. My side of the street is really warm all the time because the sun's always there, but it gets hot, so we need some shade. And we're also going to do some work on our front yard. I am also getting married in June, so we set aside some money to help pay for the wedding. It is also February, and with the lovely February comes time to register our vehicles. So my income tax is also going to take care of the cost of registering 2 vehicles and a trailer. And the last thing that we're doing with my income tax is we are setting aside a couple $100s. We have to go to Omaha and Sioux Falls in May for soccer, so we're just setting aside some travel expenses.
So we got to watch clip after clip of people treating their tax refund like it's a lottery check. New cars, new furniture, shopping sprees, gone in 10 minutes, gone in 12 hours, gone in 3 days. And I get it, y'all. I get it. When you've been scraping by all year, you have no disposable income. When your bank account has been hovering for zero for months, you get a little bit of money on, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go spend it. That $3,000, that $5,000, that $8,000 deposit hits different. It feels like breathing room for the first time since last April. And if I'm being fair, not everybody that we watched made terrible decisions with their money. And the data backs some of this stuff up. Bank of America's survey says that 36% of people plan to use their refund to pay down debt. Another 39% say that they're going to save it. On paper, that sounds responsible. But here's what the surveys never capture. There's a canyon between what people say that they're going to do and what people actually end up doing, especially after that money hits their account. You can tell a pollster that you're gonna be saving your refund money. Then on Tuesday morning when you wake up and that new $4,000 hit that checking account, all of a sudden that new couch, that new car, those bags from Target start to sound a little bit more appealing. And that's why I think that the deeper problem here is structural. This refund is K-shaped. Higher earners are getting bigger checks because the tax cuts disproportionately benefit people who are already making more in income tax. If you're a household earning over $150,000, the one big beautiful bill might put an extra $1,000 in your refund. And you don't necessarily need that money to survive. I'm assuming if you're making that much money, you probably do because the economy is crazy. You might invest it though. You might save it. You might throw it in a 529 savings account. But if you're a household that's earning $40,000 instead of $200,000, you have 3 kids, your refund might be $8,000. And it is the single largest deposit that you'll get all year. The problem is that money isn't a bonus. It's more like your emergency fund, your car repair fund, your keep the lights on fund. And you finally get to buy your kids something nice, some new school clothes, some new shoes, something that you haven't been able to do all year, you're finally able to do. And when one deposit has to do the job of the entire year of savings, then it's no wonder why it's going to disappear so quickly.
I don't know how much taxes that y'all got, but maybe I'm blessed. Thank ya. Y'all talking about I'm gonna spend all my taxes. Baby, no, I'm gonna buy me a car. Give me somewhere to stay. Responsibilities. Yes, baby, I'm gonna have my things. When I get my taxes, I always take care of my responsibilities first. My kids do need things, but they're not really wanting for it. Myself, I do have to, I don't have to, but I am looking for a bigger place because my kids are much older now and they want their own room, and I think they deserve their own room, and I need more space for myself. We are in a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and we have 12 kids, and it's me and my husband. So how does that working? Like, we gotta move ASAP.
Here's our budget this month as a family of 5, including our tax refund. The income that we're bringing home this month is $10,465. This is after taxes, insurance, 401k, HSA, everything that gets deposited into our bank account, and also included in this number is about $2,100 from our tax refund. And here's how we plan to spend and save every dollar. This month we are giving $500. Our mortgage is $2,274, and we pay $140 each month to the HOA. $345 is going to utilities, $235 to a combination of internet, phone, and streaming services, $400 to insurance, which includes car, house, and life, $1,000 for groceries, $150 to eating out, $150 to gas, $50 to fun, and $150 to miscellaneous. Now on to savings. We are setting aside $300 for property taxes, $200 for personal spending between myself and my husband, $50 to gifts, $50 to clothing, and $200 to vacation. We set aside $500 a month for medical expenses, and this month we are putting $1,020 into our subscriptions fund. We are using some of our tax refund to be able to do this because our car registration is due this month, at a whopping total of $1,400. So we already had some money in the sinking fund. I'm putting more into it so that we can pay this bill this month. We have $75 for car maintenance, $400 for house maintenance, $150 to household, $400 to kids, and $1,735 going to our emergency fund. Our tax refund is definitely coming in handy for our emergency fund and our car registration fee this month.
Very solid. I think this is a solid breakdown. I love to see people who are about to come into a little lump sum of money telling the money where to go instead of just reacting to it after it gets there. Because when that dopamine hits and you see that deposit, that hit a little different come into the account, we should not really be expected to make the best decisions. So it's great that this family has made some proper plans.
The tax return, the tax refund finally hit my bank account. It was $8,600, and we have $30,000 in credit card debt. We have significant bills to pay. We have student loan debt, etc., etc. But I am on a journey to find balance. I do not believe that I will ever be completely out of debt. I think I'll be in and out of debt throughout my life, depending on the different things that happen. So continuing to only put money towards my debt has been...
I don't know. I think that's a defeated mindset. That does not have to be true. I mean, if you start there, I mean... that's where you're ending. Like, you're not even saying like, oh, I'm in a bad situation, it's gonna get better. It's like, no, this is always how it's gonna be. Just hope that you're not right.
Been extremely detrimental to my mental health and also to like my financial growth, period. I was the kind of person that was always putting everything on my credit cards, and then I would have no money to spend, so then I would put more things on my credit cards. So anyway, I'm gonna do a breakdown of what we did with that tax return. Spoiler alert, we did put some money towards our debt. Don't worry, Dave Ramsey. We did put some money towards our debt. We did put some money towards our bills. We also have short-term savings because the summer's coming up, and summer school in our area, summer camps in our area are about $500 to $800 per week per kid. Okay? Getting a nanny, which we have a nanny, we love her, so we'll already be using her to pick up our sons. But that would actually be a little bit more expensive than the camps, or else we wouldn't. So if we had 3 kids, absolutely the nanny would be the cheaper option. But anyway, so we have that coming up, and then we decided to go on a little trip for our son's spring break next weekend. So we're doing a mix. We're doing a mix of everything. We save, we spend, we invest. Oh, and that's right, and I have a high-yield savings account. We have investments, and we also got paid today. So we have our paychecks, and our paychecks are what is after the deductions of our 401k, our health insurance, life insurance, all of those things.
My family of 7 runs on one teacher's salary. We recently got our federal and state tax returns, and so this is what we are considering doing with that money. First thing I know I'm definitely doing with the money is buying dirt, which might sound funny, but we are planning on expanding our gardens this year quite significantly. Last year was our first spring and summer with a garden, and I realized that I could actually keep things alive, which is exciting, and I found it incredibly fulfilling to eat food that I brought in from my back deck. So my wife is going to be building me a big garden area, built-in planter boxes on the ground, and so I need dirt to fill it. And there's a place that delivers really good dirt in my county, so I've ordered 2 big bags of dirt for a total of $246, and that should be more than enough, hopefully, to fill all of our garden beds. One of the other things that I am considering but haven't officially set my mind on yet in terms of using our federal tax return is to bulk up my current sinking funds. So I've said this in a past video before, I've shown all of this, but I do save towards sinking funds with every paycheck. I have a bunch of savings goals. In my app for my high yield savings account, I have multiple buckets that are all labeled for those sinking funds. And I save a certain allotment from each paycheck every time I'm paid, and I have an end goal. So my thought right now is that I might take a chunk of my federal return and I might actually just fill all of my sinking funds and meet my goals now. I'll show you an example of what that would look like. This is an example from my most recent paycheck. So my Christmas sinking fund, I contribute $50 a paycheck towards Christmas. I do that every pay period. For a new car, I save $200 every time I'm paid. For vacation, I set aside at least $50. I have 3 different birthdays for children of mine, and I save that amount for each of them. Propane, I set aside $350 in the winter months for that. Car maintenance, $50. Kids in general, which is just weekly spending on things for them, at least $50. House, I take out $100 every time I'm paid. My daughter has braces, so I set aside half of her monthly payment to the orthodontist, which is $75. I put $75 just in my typical core savings account. clubs and activities, I set aside $50. Back to school, I do $28 a paycheck. And my anniversary, I save $18. So in total, $872 of those dollars go to my high yield savings account via a transfer on payday. And in total, that's $1,122. So my thought right now is that out of all my categories for sinking funds, I would max out my back to school. So my total goal amount is $500. So I would just plug in whatever is remaining to get to that number. Same thing for anniversary. I need $200 by July. My kids' birthdays, I would max.
This gets complicated. But, I mean, I appreciate her showing her whole system.
Those out as well. New car, I'm going to contribute to consistently and continue saving for with each paycheck because I need to bulk that up as much as possible. Same thing with car maintenance. I would keep contributing to that and my home fund. But Christmas, I would bulk up to the full $1,200, even though it's not December. And I would continue contributing to, of course, vacation savings and clubs and activities. So according to my math, in order to bulk up my sinking funds and max them out for all the ones that I just listed, it would cost me $1,480 of my federal tax return. So I would devote this amount from my return to maxing out those funds. I'm also considering adding $1,800 to my emergency fund. So currently I have 3 months saved, 3 months of expenses saved for my emergency fund. And I think I would just feel comfortable as a family of 7 of bulking that up. So I'm considering adding $1,800 to that. So in total of my federal return, I would be spending $3,280, again, to max out some sinking funds and to bulk up my emergency fund.
People who are broke for 11 out of 12 months cannot be expected to suddenly become disciplined in month 12. The system is broken if the only way families feel financially okay is one government check per year. So I know the question naturally becomes, what do you actually do? And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know exactly everybody's financial situation. I'm definitely not gonna tell you how to enjoy your tax refunds. I have some good ideas for what you should do, but I'm just gonna be realistic. So here's a framework for what you can do. Number one is to cover your emergency expenses. If you don't have $1,000 set aside for the next car repair or medical bill, that should come first. It's not negotiable. Second, attack your high interest debt. Credit cards at 25 and 28% APR are eating you alive. You may not feel like it, but you are a slave to that lender. That balance just sits there and it grows month over month. And for 26 years, you're going to be paying that, and you're going to be paying way more than you initially borrowed. Number three, if you have kids, look up that $2,200 child tax credit bump. That didn't happen by accident. The government expanded it because families need it. Treat it like a lifeline that it is, and not some shopping spree fund. And finally, if you want to spend some of it, go ahead and spend some of it. Do not let people make you feel bad for using your money that the government's been holding on some things that you want. Put 70% towards your future and give yourself 30% to live with. I don't think that's deprivation. I think that's just good stewardship. And in Proverbs 21:20, we see the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. That verse is, again, 2,000 years old or thousands of years old, however long ago this was. And it still describes exactly how we should be living today. It's just good wisdom. Storing up doesn't mean that you're never going to enjoy what you have. It just means not gulping it all down the day that it arrives. But what I do want you guys to do is go ahead and subscribe at edwardseconomics.com, because that's where I go way deeper in my unfiltered thoughts and biblical application like I can't always do here. If you haven't already, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel, and then send it to somebody who you think needs to hear this before they start spending all of their tax refund money. Drop a comment down below. Do you think that bigger refunds are actually helping families, or do you think it's just giving them more rope? I want to hear it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching today's video once again. I pray the Lord blesses you, that he keeps you, that he lifts his face towards you, that he turns his countenance towards you, that he gives you favor, and that he gives you peace.
So when I got the car, my credit was only a 250. So I got an APR that was 79%.
Whoa!
I bought my car from them 3.5 years ago, and it was $11,000 with a 29% interest rate.
What? Subprime delinquencies just hit a 15-year high. 1.73 million cars were repossessed last year. And the people running this system aren't worried because your financial failure is exactly their business model. Welcome back to Edwards Economics. My name's Kaylin, and today we're talking about how dealers are legally trapping millions of Americans in loans that were literally engineered for them to fail. We're gonna break down the mechanics, the money, and the trade policy that quietly handed these dealers millions of new victims. If that sounds dramatic, you're gonna have to stick with me. The numbers are way worse than you could ever imagine. So what in the world is going on in the car market in 2026? Let's find out.
If you've never heard of the term yo-yo financing, we are in the exact same boat. So Thursday I went to go look at a car. It's Tuesday, right? Day 5. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna put some money down. I'm ready to finance my first car, or finance my first car, whatever. And so I'm at the dealership. I do all the things that I need to do. And they're like, hey, we got you a loan. And I'm like, okay, great. I'll do that payment. My loan has been pending for like 5 days. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I dig a little bit deeper into it. This company, okay, major scam vibes. A lot of 5-star reviews that don't really make any sense. And then there's a lot of like 1-star reviews that bring in a little bit of the truth, right? So apparently yo-yo financing, they keep you in this limbo. They call you back, they're like, hey, it was...
Yeah, I don't like the financing at the dealership. You gotta show up with your ducks in a row. You cannot let these people play you like this. Am I the only one? It's giving sketch. It's giving conflict of interest. It's giving, this is how you make your money. I'm not about to make you make me a mark, right? But you might be one if you're going in there without your ducks in a row. You need to go in there with your financing already in order. You need to be pre-approved for a certain amount. You not doing what they're trying to do. They do that sneaky stuff. Give you crazy interest rates, crazy terms. They're always going to stack it up against you.
And approve, we need to do like a higher APR, you need to put a little bit more money down, blah, blah, blah. We are halfway through, so if they call me next week saying that they want more money, no, I'm not doing that. This is another pyramid scheme, another scam on people who just can't buy a $16,000 car outright. Actually, it was put at 16. But they're preying on people. I'm trying to get my life together. I left a domestic violence marriage, okay? My credit, I spent the last 10 months, 11 months rebuilding, okay? I've tried to put in the work for this. I have 2 children who have special needs. They're autistic.
Yeah, they need to give her a break. This is the other reason why, again, I run this channel and I can't stand these people. Is it's not like they're preying on the informed. It's not like they're preying on people who can take it. Y'all go to the people who are struggling the most in society. A single mom, with disability, kids with disabilities. We are so cooked. We need to get these places shut down. All of them. All of them. You're preying on the most vulnerable people in society. It's ridiculous.
Do you want to know why you should never buy a car from a get now, pay later type of place like Car City or whatever? I bought my car from them 3.5 years ago, and it was $11,000 with a 29% interest rate.
Oh, that's a credit card. What? What? 29%? Maybe she's reading the decimal wrong. Maybe it's a 3%. All right.
Pay $524 a month, and then my car insurance is $286 a month. That is more than I pay for my house. My mortgage on my house is $550. My car was $800 a month.
Oh my goodness.
Well, here's the thing. When you lease or lien a vehicle like this, there's options to keep it at the end when the payment's done. But you're paying for this car, I think, twice?
Yeah.
3 times? Let me do the math.
Maybe 100 times. So that's 30%? Don't tell me they gave you a 10-year term. They gave you a mortgage. They essentially gave you a mortgage with a lower, principal balance, but with the interest rate that is 10 times. So the way that I'm doing the math is, let's say somebody has a 30-year mortgage, $300,000, right? Y'all who are getting these 30% interest rate cars for $10,000, it's like the same thing at the end of the day. The monthly payment ends up being like the same. Oh my goodness.
So I have 3.5 years. I have paid $22,000 for my $11,000 car, and I still somehow owe $8,000. Well, unfortunately, about a week ago, I hit a deer, and there is some damage to my car. Okay, this is the damage. One of the brackets in there is bent. This is damaged too, I guess. The hood, obviously, and the fender. Well, they ended up totaling out my car. So the shop looks at it, and with paint jobs, labor, yada yada, these cars did not hold their value at all. I looked them up online, and it's anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, and I owe $8,000. So it's total. So what they offered me is the salvage title. I could buy my car for $2,500, but my car insurance company was only covering like $3,000 of what my $8,000 total was, and I had gap insurance, which would normally cover that, but if I wanted to keep it, I would have to pay the difference.
Wow.
So like $5,000 plus $2,000 for a salvage vehicle.
Don't make no sense.
No. I had this car all cute. I just took my Hello Kitty stuff off of here. I've been putting stickers on this for years. I had all the characters for my kids and I. I have cried a few times about it, but honestly, I'm going to be saving myself $800 a month by not having this car anymore. Yeah. And we do have another vehicle. That one fully paid. Obviously, it's old. So
I can't really sing, and I know this ain't gonna make the situation better, but you never miss the dead when you let it go. you never will. Let it go. Let it go. That might be one of the worst car situations, most predatory things I've ever heard. And Murphy's Law has really come down on this woman, and hopefully there are better days ahead.
There's an update on me trying to buy a car with a credit and only $1,000 down payment. I did what everyone said to do, which was to go apply at a TransUnion or credit union, whatever.
Credit union.
I'm still waiting for the response, so I don't know. My mom did find a 1999 Jeep for $2,000 that we are supposed to go see on Saturday, but I don't know how I feel about buying something off the street just because I don't get any warranty or anything, and then if it's up like a few weeks into me having it, then went on Carvana and I got pre-approved for this, but it's a Ford, which I don't know how reliable those are or whatever, but the monthly payment is like $400, and which isn't bad because I was paying $350 before. The down payment.
So she needs to do more research. There's a lot of I don't knows and guessing here, and this is where you're just gonna they're just gonna take you. They're gonna kick your tail. You're gonna get in a bad situation. And what's crazy is those of us who've been in bad situations because we were uninformed, desperate, and didn't know all the options. We didn't have very many options, but we can see it happening from a mile away. You need to know the information. You need to have options. You need you need to not be in a rush. Like, get this right, because the due diligence that's going to take to make a wise decision is going to be way less than being in a terrible situation for the next 10 years. You know what I mean?
It would be $400, but the APR is like 24%, which is kind of high.
That's
I don't
insane.
even know what that means, actually, you guys. I really don't know. So someone tell me what the APR means.
No, you gotta go
I'm
find
guessing
it
it's
out.
like the interest rate, right?
And the crazy thing is, you don't even have to Google this anymore. I mean, you can Google it, but now the Google search prompts Gemini, and it'll explain it to you. And you can say, hey, explain it to me like a fifth grader if you have no clue. You can literally use AI to walk you through these terms. You can just take a picture of it. Take a picture of the little sticker in the window and just see if it makes sense. Put some of your financial information in there. I know some of y'all don't want to share your data, but do some hypothetical situations and see if it makes sense. Guys, please.
And yeah, I'm also thinking of just going to like a Kia dealership or a Honda dealership and seeing what I could get. I'm gonna see if my grandpa will co-sign. I don't know.
No.
And I wanted to go to the auctions, but I just don't know what I'm doing, you know. And I'm just like, it's just me.
It's all figure outable.
It just sounds a little intimidating, so I don't know how I would.
It's all figure outable.
Go about this. I don't want to go by myself, and I don't even know where to like find them or like how to do this whole process. It just feels like a little scary, you know. But I mean, that's still an option. So
yeah, I get it. Look, it's not easy. They don't make it easy. The thing is, nobody's going to coddle you. They're just going to take advantage of you. You are the prime example. You are the mark when you walk on the car dealership lot. They're going to take advantage of you, and they're going to put you in a terrible situation. This is why people show up to these places with somebody who's more informed. I think you should be informed, and you should go with somebody who's informed.
Recently, my husband and I had to make a difficult decision to purchase a new vehicle. I know for many people that sounds exciting and fun, but for us, it is extremely stressful because we are a one-income family and I'm disabled. So for us, a car payment isn't just a purchase, it's security and it's survival. We prayed on it all morning and finally we went to the dealership. We were there pretty much all day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. I would say around 8 p.m., everything was finalized, the contract was signed, we took the new vehicle, and we went home. So we felt incredibly blessed. When we got home, we talked about how everything worked out in our favor. We got a great interest rate and a monthly payment we could afford as a one-income family. Perfect. And then storm started. A few days later, the dealership called and demanded that we come back in and sign a new contract with a higher interest rate.
What?
Then came the instant stress.
Can you even do that? You already signed the contract.
Stress, anxiety, fear, confusion, and we automatically thought, we have to go back into the dealership. We have no choice. That is when I decided to pause. I did my own research, and then I reached out to an attorney and got legal advice so we could understand what our rights were at this point. Here's what most dealerships do not explain. They have you sign an additional retail purchase agreement. It's their contract. It's not the main contract. And somewhere on that contract, there is something called conditional delivery / cancellation agreement. And in that is what they try to use to get you to come back in to bring in a higher down payment or get you for a higher interest rate. It's an intimidation tactic that a lot of dealerships will use to get people to come back in and accept a contract with worse terms. And the problem is many people don't know that they have rights, so they go back in.
That is diabolical. Who even thinks of this stuff? Who even thinks of this? You've already made the sale, you've already agreed to the terms, now you're gonna double back and try and screw them over? What? Clown world.
Do it. And guess who's impacted the most? Disabled people,
The most vulnerable.
elderly, young buyers, and veterans. Coincidence? I think not.
So here's the defense that you're going to hear from the industry. Dealers are just meeting demand. Subprime borrowers have nowhere else to go, and someone has to finance the working Americans who need to get a car to get to work. And if the rate is too high, it's just because the lender is the one taking the risk. Take these lenders out of the picture and you leave millions of people stranded. And that's their argument, y'all. There it is, cut and dry, just as plain as you heard it. And the truth is, that argument isn't entirely wrong. People with bad credit do need transportation, and capital deployed to high default borrowers demands a higher rate. I'll give them that. But again, as always, that's not actually what's happening here. What's actually happening is a pipeline that's built to extract the maximum amount of interest from the Americans with the least ability to fight back. And the tariffs that, we've had over this past year just made it worse. I know we just passed Liberation Day, but a lot of people are still in bondage. Here's the chain in order. Tariffs raised the new car prices past the threshold where traditional financing approves average buyers. Those buyers then got pushed into the used car market, and then used car prices rose too because the supply tightened. Subprime buyers got routed into buy here, pay here lots, and their sweet dealer-backed subprime loans. Those lenders are charging 20 to 30% APR on cars that are already depreciating the moment you drive them off the lot. Or should I actually say the dirt lot or the field or the junkyard these cars are coming from. The average APR on a used car for a deep subprime borrower right now is 21.6%. That's not a credit card, y'all. I know it sounds like one because some of us have way better rates than that on our credit cards. No, y'all, that is a car loan. What? And that's why more than 1/3 of these buy here, pay here loans end in default. And that sounds sad, right? Like, it sounds like bad business. Like, wow, the financing office is really messing up. But that's a part of the plan. That's exactly what they want. They sell the car, collect the payments for a few months, install a GPS kill switch, and then repossess the first time you miss payment. And then what's worse is they resell that same car to another desperate buyer. Rinse and repeat, running the same play. And it gets worse. 30.5% of Americans trading in a car right now owe more than the car is actually worth. The average amount rolled into the next loan is $7,214. Y'all, that is an all-time record. 40% of those buyers are stretching the new loan to 84 months. 7 literal years of payments on a car that was already underwater the day that you signed it. And then what's worse is, after you got it, it depreciated even more. The system is made to keep you in bondage. If that doesn't show you, I don't know what will. You just got fleeced in the first car, you rolled it into another fleecing situation, and then it's got fleeced again. When are we going to start understanding that nobody at the dealership is on our side? Literally nobody. Sometimes it might just be worth walking.
I'm sitting here reading the comments, and a lot of y'all are wondering how I got my car repoed and why I owed $11,000 on my car. Okay, so when I got the car, my credit was only a 250. So I got an APR that was 79%.
Whoa.
I signed.
That is the most predatory. What?
On a
Is it a car or a payday?
365 month lease on the car, well, finance on the car. So that put my car payments at a little bit over $2,700. I was 4 months behind. So y'all do the math, okay? $2,700. I was 4 months behind. And also they add fees. They add the fees when you get it repoed, for them towing it to the repo place, for them, what else they had to do? It's just fees, and it goes up.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I've walked for much less. I remember used to have give somebody $5 for a ride. Oh, you got gas money? You got $5. You throw 'em. I would walk for $5. $2,700 a month for $300. This is criminal.
The longer you let your car sit there, the higher the fees are gonna be. So yeah, that is how the car got repoed, how I ended up no car and can't get the car back because it's $11,000. And it's been there for 2 days now. So yeah, I don't know how much fees. This is gonna have to go.
I got my car from a buy here, pay here line in 2020, so this was 5 years ago. And I really feel like I have a lawsuit, but I don't know. But I bought this car 5 years ago. And I've gotten into 3 car accidents with this car. The first time, my cousin hit the back of another car and my car was totaled, but the airbags didn't deploy. The second time, I got T-boned in the side, and the airbags still did not deploy. The third time was when I hydroplaned my car like a month or 2 ago. Y'all seen that? Yeah. No airbags deployed. And I now am seeing the airbag light up on my dash. And I really don't know what that means. Don't come for me. I really don't know what that means. But I'm just thinking like, dang, after 5 years and 3 car accidents that had some pretty big impacts on the vehicle, why are there no airbags deployed? But now I'm feeling like maybe my car doesn't have any airbags. I really don't know how to check that. But also, I got my car from a buy here, pay here lot. And it was sold to me as is. Like, there's no warranty, it was as is. So I guess I'm wondering, like, does my car...
It was probably already totaled before. She bought something that's already been in a car accident. They just probably didn't add those airbags back into it.
I have airbags. How do I figure that out? And can I sue them? Because I feel like they sold me the car with no airbags. And that, like, has to be against the law.
This is what it looks like to have a high interest rate on your car. The car that I'm going to use for this example is going to be a certified Elantra. This is probably a 2024 or 2025. These cars hover around 22, 23,000. Now, if you go to the dealership with troubled credit, your interest rate is going to be high. Let's just say your interest rate is 22%. The payments that you make on the car barely even touch the principal of it. Let me show you these numbers.
Everything's plugged in. $23,000 selling price, 7 months. You have bad credit, so you get a 22% rate, and you're going to put $1,000 down.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. When you first take delivery of this car, you're going to be borrowing $25,524. Now, this is what your payment cycle is going to look like for the first year. This is a full diagram that shows you how much of your car payment is going to the interest and how much is going to the principal itself. As you guys can see, the interest on this side is more than double the principal.
Yeah, you cannot convince me that somebody in this situation would not be better off figuring out public transportation or Ubering or walking or buying a bike. Like, what? Why? Do y'all see the numbers? Do you see? It's stacked against you. What are we even talking about? Did they not show this breakdown to people before they sign? Or do they get it mixed up and they think that the interest is a principal and the principal is the interest? After a year, you've done nothing. You've done nothing. Wow.
After 1 year of making payments, your ending balance is only $23,221. That means for the 1 year you were making payments, your balance only dropped down $2,300. So guys, think twice before you take that high interest rate at the dealership.
The worst place to buy a used car from is a franchise dealer. And I hate to say it because my goal in life is to become a franchise dealer. But a franchise dealer buries you so deep, they're destroying the economy one car sale at a time. I'm gonna break it down to you from a dealer's perspective on how I see things. So I picked this dealer at random, right? They're selling you a 2011 Nissan Juke for $7,300. This is the cheapest car on their lot, right? They have a $1,200 dealer fee. So $7,300 plus $1,200. I got my GED, bear with me here. That's $8,500, right? Then they include their warranty, which is another $2,500, 85, 9, 10, 11,000, plus taxes and tag and whatever miscellaneous fees. They're gonna sell you this car for $14,000.
Nope.
Then they got the bank that'll give you that $250 payment you're hunting for.
These weasels, man. Oh my goodness. This is why I don't even know people who really like driving like that, let alone the process of purchasing a car. Like, I'm so sick of this.
For 48 months, 60 months, right? You can never trade this car in. Ever. They just buried you. They buried you and threw dirt on top of you, then stepped on you and put a flower. They just sent you to your misery. You will be stuck with this for life. And what happens? The transmission's gonna go out. You're gonna leave it on the side of the road. It's gonna get repossessed. And now you got bad credit. The economy is gonna live it because of deals like this.
$1.667 trillion. That's how much Americans owe on cars right now. This is not a credit crisis that's waiting to happen. That crisis is literally already here. It just routed through a part of the economy that nobody's looking at. Tariffs didn't create predatory lending, but they did exacerbate the problem. It multiplied the customer base for it. And there's millions and millions of more people who are about to get cooked by this play, and the dealers are just gonna run it over and over and over again. The people that are writing the trade policy and the people that are writing the loan paperwork are both counting on you to not connect the dots. But you can connect the dots, but you need to subscribe to channels like Edwards Economics and subscribe at edwardseconomics.com, because that's where I go deeper on all of this with some more unfiltered and biblical application. So go ahead, and if you haven't already, and like this video, subscribe to this channel and share it with somebody that you know is about to go out and buy a car and they got some bad credit. Then tell me, what's one thing you wish you had known before you signed your first car loan? Thank you guys for watching this video once again. I pray the Lord blesses you, that he keeps you, that he lifts his face towards you, that he turns his countenance towards you, that he gives you favor, and that he gives you peace.
I just spent $34,000 to go to Coachella weekend 2 because I had FOMO.
For me, going VIP is the only way. I did VIP my first year, and there is just no way that I could do general.
So the total cost for 3 days at Coachella is $198,000.
Welcome back to Edwards Economics. My name's Kaylin, and a Coachella ticket this year cost $699 on the website. Oh my goodness, I can't believe the words coming out of my mouth. Average attendees spent somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000 for a single weekend in the desert, breathing in all that dust and surrounded by hot, sweaty people. And the worst part about it is 60% of them were financing it with buy now, pay later. So how much does it really cost to spend a weekend at Coachella? Let's find out.
Here's a breakdown of how much I spent to go to Coachella this year. So by far, the most expensive thing to go to Coachella is your wristband. For me, going VIP is the only way. I did VIP my first year, and there is just no way that I could do general a lot, not because I'm snobby, just because I have to pee all the time. Bathrooms in general are not okay. So basically, I spent an extra $1,000 just so I could use the toilet. The second most expensive part of Coachella is the outfits. I think I went a lot cheaper this year. I was choosing brands like Superdown, things that weren't that expensive, but still my outfits totaled to around $1,000 for the weekend. This does include new shoes, so that was pretty costly. The third most expensive thing is the stay, so that I really got lucky though, where I found an Airbnb for $2,300 and I'm splitting it amongst the girlies, and we're all spending $500 each. But that's really cheap for Coachella, so when you do it in advance, it really does help. Third most expensive things are all my accessories, so I went crazy on Shein and bought like a bunch of jewelry, got like cowgirl hat, all those things, as well as like a portable charger, something to wear for blisters, like all that cost around $300. And believe it or not, gas is the cheapest thing. 2 years ago I flew, but me and my girlfriend are gonna drive down, so I just imagine around $100. Total, I'm looking around $3,900 just to go to Coachella, which is pretty crazy because I could be in Europe. I really had so much fun the first time I went. I felt like a little kid. I just like that feeling felt so good. Let's hit it up for JBeebs.
I paid my entire way through Coachella, and I wanted to do a breakdown for you because you guys are so curious, especially since that RV video. So 2 VIP tickets were $3,000, plus our RV that we got was $3,400. That was Thursday through Monday, by the way. And we also had to reserve a spot at an RV park, and I think that was $800. So far, we're at $7,200 just for our stay. Wasted money was a VIP locker we paid $100 for, and we also got preferred parking so we could get in and out of Coachella. It was about $315. Now the outfits. Don't judge me because you guys have to understand I am a fashion influencer. I spent $1,000 on a stylist, and then I spent $1,800 of my own money on my outfits, and the rest of the pieces I got for free. I also got Ubers too because the brand events I went to had limited parking and I didn't want to risk it. I spent $185 on one trip. The surcharges were insane, and then $60 and then $10. I forgot food. So food for day 1 was $124. Food for day 2 was $150, and then food for day 3 was $111, and then groceries was $200. Now our total is $11,000, $262. But just because the brand didn't take me, I still made enough money to cover this entire trip and then profit quite a bit from it too. So just because a brand isn't taking you doesn't mean you still can't get brand deals, you guys. Like, you could take yourself, because I didn't want to wait for a brand, so I didn't.
How much would it cost to get a bottle of water at Coachella? Well, guys, apparently Coachella sells the most expensive food out of all the festivals in the world, so I'm actually really curious about their water. Now, this is the situation of the people. As you can see, it's ram-packed. I feel like people don't show this side of Coachella, but let's just go get some water. Hi, how much would a bottle of water be? It's $8.70. The water bottle was actually $9 because I did do a cheeky tip. I know, I'm just too nice. And now we are going to be refilling it at this station. Hopefully it's good, the water. I presume you just push it? Yeah. Hey, water, earth, fire, air. Comment down below if you guys know that reference. Coachella water secured, $9.70. Let's try it. Okay. Definitely filtered water, fresh from the Atlantic Ocean. I'd rate this a 10 out of 10 because I love water. Alice, you like it? Yay!
Coachella Airbnb owners are canceling pre-booked rentals to charge more to last-minute groups. This has happened to several of my friends who have booked places for thousands of dollars. This one, for example, $7,500, 3 months in advance for 4 nights. The owner canceled just last week, which is 2 weeks before the festival, by saying he sold the house. Then he relisted it for 2.5 times the price on Airbnb the next day. Same thing happened to another friend here with miraculously the same excuse for a completely different Airbnb that was again relisted after being canceled. Okay, Airbnb, let's go over their new options. Oh, here we go. Their options are a camp in someone's backyard for $2,000, no tent included, of course. Oh, wait, here you go. We can get a smaller house, 2 bedrooms for $22,000. Wow. For 3 days. $22,000 for 3 days for a 2-bedroom. What the? Oh, here's an option. 9 bedrooms. This is a good size. Oh, wait. $132,000 for the weekend for 3 days. You can buy a place in some states for that.
How much does it cost to go to Coachella with receipts? So obviously I am not a brand-friendly influencer, so I had to pay for Coachella all on my own. And I'm going to Coachella with the entire Bop House, the assistants and stylists, so I had to get 12 tickets. We got 12 artist passes and a table at the main stage, and it ended up being $67,980. You guys know me, so obviously.
What? To see what?
So I booked a private jet, and a round trip to Coachella Valley cost me $37,498. We originally had an Airbnb booked way in advance for $29,000, but they canceled on us 3 days before the event. So we had to book another Airbnb, and that total was $83,375. And as I said prior, I got a stylist, and all of the clothes that she got me ended up totaling to be $5,000. So the total cost for 3 days at Coachella is $198,845. And
what in the world? Who are these kids? What are we doing with our money nowadays? What?
Have you ever wondered how much it costs a normal person to go to Coachella? Let's do a little content creator transparency time. I don't know if anyone will be this honest with you, but I will, okay? We need a hotel, right? Because I can't stay in the desert. Hey, how much do you think a 3-night stay is at a hotel? Can we think? I know it's gonna be expensive. It's Coachella season, high traffic. I'm prepared, okay?
$500. 3 nights, 500, middle of the desert, nothing else out there. 500, final answer.
I go to look up a hotel that I've stayed at before. 3 nights. What's your guess? What's your guess? Hi, $9,000. You got it? Pre-tax. Yeah. Okay. What about La Quinta Inn? The little corner of La Quinta Inn.
We know
yeah, $6,000. Oh, yeah. And that's not counting your flight. That is not counting your food, your transportation, tickets to the festival. Granted, I am doing this last, but I thought it would be fun to kind of tell you that, yeah, it's probably gonna end up costing me literally $12,000 to $15,000.
No, Pookie, no. And the thing is, I keep hearing content creators is this what influencers are doing nowadays? It's like pay to play. So in order to be the influencer, you have to spend the money to go to the places to make it look like your life is so great, but really you're just going into debt to go see concerts. Okay, y'all. Okay, see, I have a hard time with the idea of concerts anyway. I know some of y'all who have been are gonna cook me, but I'm not spending all that money to go see no one. I'm just gonna listen to it on Spotify. But it might be different in person. Maybe if it's reasonable, okay?
I just spent $34,000 to go to Coachella weekend 2 because I had FOMO. Let's talk about it. Now, I do realize a lot of you are gonna come for me, but at least listen to my explanation before. I'm so scared to make this video. Initially, I had a vacation booked for April, and because I've never been to Coachella, I was like, it's fine. Why would I go to Coachella when I could just enjoy myself in the sun? I really did no research on who was performing, what it was even gonna look like. Less than 5 days ago, I actually look at who's performing. Getting the biggest case of FOMO in my life. I booked it. Part of the reason why it's so expensive is because it is obviously really last minute. And my only argument is that it might be a once in a lifetime experience and it's Coachella. What is the point of us making all of this money if we're not even gonna spend it? Outfit inspo, and if anyone has like any tips, because obviously I'm gonna be traveling alone, because I feel like my FOMO this time was so bad. And what am I actually doing? We're not gonna talk about my credit card right now, no, but I'm Canadian. So that price is in USD. I just have my fingers crossed that I don't get scammed by Airbnb. Anyone that lives in LA, if I potentially end up homeless, give me a home. Could have saved money in a tent, but like, I don't camp. So if I want to save money, why would I be going? Most spontaneous thing I've done this year, and like people spend that much money on like designer bags. So if I'm spending it on an experience, who cares?
So I hear the argument, and I want to be fair. It's an experience. This is what literally everybody says, and I get it. You can't put a price on memories. Life is short, and there is real value in shared experiences and celebration and in getting away. Ecclesiastes talks about enjoying the fruit of your labor. Nobody is saying that you shouldn't be able to spend money on things that bring you joy, but that argument only works if you're spending money that you actually have. 60% of GA ticket buyers last year financed their tickets through buy now, pay later products. Afterpay, Klarna, and Coachella's own payment plan. Guys, if you're going to a place that literally has a payment plan, that's not a good sign. Odds are the price is probably too high for you. And the Coachella payment plan isn't like a layaway situation. It's $4,900 down, a flat $50 service fee, and monthly installments on that balance. That's a debt product that's dressed up as a convenience product. And the ticket is just the door. Once you factor in everything else, it really starts to pile up fast. StubHub resale for weekend 1GA, $2,905 to $5,061. Insane. Airbnb in Indio during the festival week, $1,260 per night, or 109% premium over a normal rate. Food inside the grounds, $150 per day. Transportation, outfits, parties, hundreds of more dollars on top of what you're already spending. And all of these influencers that are justifying going because they're making money, because they're making content, are just the content engine that influences all the other young 20-year-olds to go spend all of their money at Coachella. They're getting people hooked on Afterpay and all these other BNPL services to be able to go to these places that they genuinely can't afford. And don't get me started on the landlords, the greedy landlords, I should say, that are literally letting people book, and then as soon as a better deal comes along, they get to see the surge pricing, they're canceling and then selling the exact same place for 10 times the amount. The hosts know that the demand is so socially manufactured that they can triple the price after a cancellation and somebody will still pay. So what does this actually say about the American consumer right now? Like, we have people who, again, objectively can't afford to go, but they cannot delay gratification at all. They're comparing themselves to people. They're looking at all this people, and they're getting the FOMO. And then they're putting their future selves in the worst possible position so they can go spend a weekend breathing in dust. Maybe it's because I'm from California, but it's really not that cool being hot in the desert, listening to songs that you can listen to on Spotify, surrounded by sweaty, smelly people. The whole generation is cooked, and it's not going to get better.
60% of Coachella GA attendees use a payment plan to afford going to Coachella in both 2025 and again in 2026. That is over 100,000 people needing a payment plan, aka a loan, to pay for a $650 ticket. Buy now, pay later platforms market themselves as an alternative to taking out a loan, when in reality they're very similar. First and foremost, you will get charged if you break up those payments and you don't meet those later payments at an incredibly high rate, what the small amount was. And two, if you don't make your payments, buy now, pay later firms will fully sell your lost payment to a debt collections agency, and that debt collections agency will then impact your credit scores. And if you think you're special and you're never going to miss a payment, the unfortunate news is that many credit scoring companies in the United States take the fact that you needed a BNPL for something small to be an indicator that you are not a reliable person to loan money to, and they will not give you a loan for something bigger, even if you made your payments on time. That was all coming out in last year, and a huge problem that these BNPL companies have to deal with right now. So when we think about Coachella and we see people having these extreme weekends, and we see the influencers getting not only paid to be there, people going into debt on the other hand to finance themselves being in the same situation, it creates this incredible money dysmorphia, and it happens every single year.
I feel like Coachella weekend is an excellent time to remind everyone that a lot of people are going into credit card debt to do these things. Like, if you're anything like me, you're living paycheck to paycheck. The only thing I really spend my money on is food.
Like, I haven't been on a vacation in a year. Life is really, really hard right now. And I'm happy for the people at Coachella. I'm happy for the people finding joy, but like, you really can't be comparing yourself to people because you have no idea.
At all. And the thing is, after running Edwards Economics, I have an idea. You do not want to be where they are. Let me tell you, because these teeny boppers, you know, 18, 19, 20, young 20s, they grow up and they get in their 30s and they start looking back at the past decades, more decades of their life, and they think, maybe I had a little too much fun. You know, maybe I should have thought about my future self. You know, there was a study, or I think it was a study that came out some years ago that said that young people view their older self like they view strangers. Like they have no relation to that person that, Lord willing, they will be able to be in the future. They make no provisions for that person. It's yikes. And then they end up on Edwards Economics, and we have to respond and react and provide some commentary and advice for how to help them get out of the crazy situations that their younger selves got them in. It's a circle of life, y'all.
What's going on behind the curtain? And if you're anything like me, you cannot put yourself into a bad financial position. Like, I have nothing to fall back on. Like, if I fail, like, I have to go back home to North Carolina. Thank God, like, I have a family to go back home to.
That's a safety net.
Failure means that for me. And, you know, I think it's really easy to, like, get in this, like, comparison game of, like, keeping up with everyone. But just, this is your reminder. You're not alone. If you're...
I also think we need to re-normalize living with your parents for a little bit longer. Some of these kids are moving out way too early, and they're just not even in good situations. Now, obviously, if you need to leave the situation of living with your family because of whatever valid reason, then yeah, you do that. But if you can stay with them, stay as long as you possibly need to, because it really ain't sweet out here. It's really not.
I'm hearing that there are payment plans for Coachella. This is not groceries, this is not gas. If you cannot afford to pay $650 general admission, straight up, you shouldn't be there. And that's just the cost of the ticket. If you have to finance the cost of the ticket, how are you affording the car camping? I do not understand financing anything but like a car, college, and a house, and a boat. Why are we using Afterpay for a music festival?
Mookie, just take it a little further. You almost there. Come on, join us now. We're not trying to finance any of that stuff. At least the crazy amounts that we see all these other folks doing it. All right? But y'all know what we advocate for here. Just off a little hoopty, a little used car, pay it off. All right? Go to community college, transfer to the state college, go for free, apply for all the scholarships you can. Avoid Coachella. You don't want to be breathing that dust anyway. I'm from California, trust me. You can literally feel it in your lungs. It's not as sweet as it looks. It's not as cute as it looks. All right?
I'm genuinely so confused. I remember when they first announced that Justin Bieber was going to go to headliners. I was like, man, that'd be like so cool to go. And Kayla lives in California, so I was like, maybe we can figure something out, whatever. The general admission was like $650. A flight, I would probably have to fly from Orlando to LAX, and then LAX to wherever they are in the middle of the desert, or drive. There's no flight from Orlando to LAX. It's like less than $500. It's kind of hard to find, right? So we're already at $1,150, and then you gotta eat, and I was gonna get a hotel because I don't sleep outside. So that's like, let's say another band. So it's already like $2,000. And for me in my life, I don't have it like that where I can spend $2,000 on a music fest and just keep living. I'm gonna be SOL for quite some time, right? So I'm not saying people shouldn't have fun. People should have fun, right? But as somebody who has seen Beyonce twice for $55 each, I do not understand going into debt for a concert.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a pretty fair price. If you could go see a, you know, headliner like that, $55, that's solid. $550, $5,000. No thanks.
This Coachella might go down in the history books as the most popular and expensive Coachella, even more than Baychella, which was almost maybe 10 years ago now, I think. I think there's a couple factors for why this is the most popular Coachella, and I'll explain that. I was looking up the official AXS resale website, and a GA pass was $1,700, and I thought that was a lot for GA. 24 hours later, and it's gone up to $6,000. I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow, the day before the festival, the ticket goes up to $10,000 for GA. Now, obviously, one of the biggest reasons this is so popular is because Justin Bieber famously hates touring. He doesn't do a ton of concerts anymore, and this might be one of those few times we actually get to see him live before he retires. So I'm so excited for this. But also,
And now, after it's already happened, turns out he was up there watching YouTube videos. Can you imagine putting the down payment on a card to go watch Justin Bieber watch YouTube videos of himself? It's clown world. It's literally clown world.
So Coachella did something they don't ever do. Every single year, Coachella will book at least 1 or 2 legacy acts for the headliner, which appeal to like a Gen X, older millennial audience. Think like Green Day last year. But this is the first year that Coachella's headliners are fully appealing to younger millennial and Gen Z.
Nope.
Gen Z now has this more like a disposable income and buying power than when they were, say, in like high school and college. And so they are hungry and eager for events like this, and they're willing to pay big bucks for it.
And they're going to take all of y'all money. And then y'all are going to act like y'all don't have any money to pay for those student loans y'all took out. I know how this goes.
I woke up to this email. Basically woke up to a message from my Airbnb host for Coachella weekend that our spot is getting canceled. Like any normal person, I started to freak out, called my friend Yessie, who I'm going to Coachella with, and I was like, girl, go look at the host message. And basically she just sent a message like, so sorry, canceling the Airbnb. And I was like, oh, freaking out, called Airbnb support, and I was like, I'm not sure what's going on because on my end I still see that it's active. Airbnb was on the same page. They were like, well, on our end nothing is canceled, so I'm not sure what she means by that message. I remained very calm, but then I was really just like, you know when you're so upset that you just like go mute? That was me, because I'm like, how
Sounds like they're going to cancel because they got a better deal.
is this Airbnb host literally canceling 5 days before the show? Coachella weekend 1 is the next Friday, like this coming Friday, and today's Sunday. So like any normal person, I started to freak out. So they started like around 9 a.m. Around 11:30, the host officially canceled our place. So we were like, okay, mind you, we booked this place back in September. So she had 7 months to let us know that it wasn't going to work out, or, you know, to communicate. And so then I sent her a message and I was like, this is just very disappointing. I'm literally in shock. Like, what is going on? And she was like, I'm so sorry. Palm Desert, the city of Palm Desert sent out a letter saying that we're not able to book Airbnbs for that weekend. And then she tried to like make me feel better by saying like, don't worry, like other Coachella reservations were canceled too. Girl, I'm talking about our reservation, because now me and my friend are like looking for Airbnbs and everything is between $5,000 to like $10,000. I'm not gonna pay that. So now, no Airbnb, Coachella's on Friday, and I don't know what to do.
So my best friend, girlfriend, and I decided to go to Coachella yesterday, and we secured a house. We're on the party list. I think we're good on the party list. But we've been looking to buy just GA passes. And can someone tell me why a GA pass to Coachella is $1,100 on the resale market right now? $1,100? There's some that are like $900, but still, I have been going to Coachella since 2016. This is gonna be my 6th Coachella, if I even make it there. I don't know how much they sold for. I think the GA passes were like $600. They used to be $350. And I know it's like inflation, the economy, but like the resale market is out of control. Don't come crying to me about billionaires exploiting people when y'all are doing the same thing with these Coachella passes. Please do not buy a GA pass to Coachella for $1,100 just because Justin Bieber has a 5% chance of actually showing up and doing a performance. That is insane. I think we all need to touch grass and come back down to earth.
Bro, Coachella might be the greatest scam to ever be created. And nobody wants to admit it. You've got people paying $3,000 just to get in, just to stand in the desert, breathing in dust like it's part of the experience. And then you've got VIP sections going for $25,000 up to $50,000, and that's not even including the tables. What are we doing? Opening a nightclub in the sand? And for what? So you can repost the same video as everyone else of Justin Bieber, sitting down, bored, scrolling memes on YouTube like he's waiting for his Uber. I'm sorry. You pay thousands to watch a man do what you're doing for free in your bed at 2 a.m. in the comfort of your own home. Listen, you could have stayed home, opened your laptop, typed in funny videos, and saved yourself $47,000 in deals. And don't even get me started on the food. $28 for chicken tenders, $15 for lemonade, $40 for some aesthetic-looking tacos that taste like regret. At that point, you're not eating, you're investing. And don't get me wrong, everybody's there posting like, best weekend of my life. Yeah, because if I had to spend 10 grand to be there, trust me, I would like to.
$699 on the poster. $1,500 out of your pocket. 60% financed. Airbnb is doubling because the county capped the supply and social media manufactured the demand. Now that the music is quieting and the dust is settling, people are starting to think about their financial decisions that they made. They're not happy about it. I'm just gonna say it. Coachella isn't a music festival as much as it is a debt machine. Y'all should not be going, and I don't want to hear anybody in this audience that's watched this video going to places like that. What I do want you to do is go to edwardseconomics.com and subscribe there, because that's where I go way deeper with unfiltered thoughts and biblical application, because I can't always get into it here. You know somebody who's about to make a payment on some festival right before vacation season, right before the summer, I want you to send them this video before they tap confirm. Thank you guys for watching this video. Once again, I pray the Lord blesses you, that he keeps you, that he makes his face shine on you, that he turns his countenance towards you, that he gives you favor, and that he gives you peace.
Grocery prices are out of fucking control. I normally go to Costco every 2 weeks, and this week when I went, I got to the cashier and he rang me up. He said $495.
Bro, I'm not gonna make it in this world, because like, tell me why I just went to Kroger's and got groceries. I just got paid today. How the did I barely get any food and it's $73? Like, what the am I gonna do?
Welcome back to Edwards Economics. My name's Kaylin, and the price that you pay for groceries is about to become so high you're not even gonna believe it. Walmart has electronic shelf labels in about 2,300 stores already, and they're on track for full deployment in the U.S. by the end of this year. Kroger has the Edge system in about 500 stores and is targeting 2,600 by the end of this year as well. Most Americans have absolutely no clue that this infrastructure already exists and that it's already installed. So what in the world is going on with grocery prices in America? Well, let's find out.
I'm getting fed up with the prices of groceries. The price of groceries are too sky high, and some things need to change. Because to be spending $1,000 a month cash in groceries, if not more, it might be more than $1,000. I'm like, how is that possible? Like, I just went shopping last week and I spent over $300. This week the food's gone. Good, the whole 6 days later, literally 6, not even 7 days. 6 days later, the food's pretty much gone. The fridge is bare. I'm like, how? Because $300 don't get you. That's how. So when you used to be able to go and spend, you know, $150 and fill up your cabinet's fridge, and now it lasts you a couple of weeks. $300 is not lasting anybody a week. Like, dude, needs to change. Either I'm gonna start walking my habits out with those carts, just like people used to do back in the days of addiction, but filled with TVs and electronics. It's gonna be filled with food. I don't care.
Hey, what's up, America? I'm here at a Walmart, and I want to show you the electronic pricing tags that can change prices based on surge pricing. What? So as you know, a lot of places are starting to replace actual paper tags with digital tags. Here at the Walmart by me.
Are we serious right now? I thought that was just good technology. I didn't know if they're over their control. No.
They're doing that now. So let me show you what these look like, and let me show you the difference. So here's a digital tag. These prices can change at a moment's notice, and they do throughout the day. Every single one has been changed to a digital tag, so these prices will go up 3 or 5 cents depending on what time of day it is, and they'll go up when more people are here shopping, and they'll go down when fewer people are here. So let me show you the difference. Here's an actual tag, and then here's the digital tag. See, they look identical, but this one is a digital tag. You can even see here behind the glass. So this is happening at every Walmart across the country, and this will be happening at every grocery store across the country at some point. They can literally take these prices and change them up and down a couple of cents throughout the day and make millions. And then they'll incrementally raise them so it'll always be higher. See, look at these prices. These prices are indicating that they've raised them and lowered them slightly throughout the day, and they have. There's videos online showing these prices changing, and they're also planning on using your phone data to change the prices as you're perusing.
That makes sense. So you download the Walmart app or whatever grocery store app. They get your location data, they get all your payment data, and they know how often you're coming in based off of the last time you came in, or even better, where your phone literally is. Knowing you're in the store, knowing, probably using some type of AI to predict what you're about to run out of, and just the moment before you go purchase whatever you're about to purchase, boop, spike up the price. That's crazy. And now with people building out their grocery carts online, oh man, we might need to go back to cash again, y'all.
This, a couple of weeks ago, we had it on for 75 cents for a 2-pound bag of onions. We just got a shipment in. We had to raise it to $1.
Food Fair owner Munther Zaid says shippers and suppliers are adding fuel surcharges, forcing him to pass those costs on. The fuel crisis from the Middle East war is driving food prices higher, starting with imported produce and some meat and dairy.
The fresh stuff is where you're going to see the immediate impact.
It's becoming more expensive for trucking companies to transport goods, with the price of diesel jumping 40% since the war began. That's rippling through the food supply chain to grocers.
We're now at the point where we can't hold off any longer, and what consumers are seeing at the fuel pump is what the grocers are seeing at their back doors.
And shoppers in rural and remote communities will feel the squeeze even more.
We should anticipate that there's going to be an increase in food inflation in the months ahead. We just have to be transparent and honest about that. There's just no magic bullet that can erase that from happening.
The thing that gets me is this isn't just a within the past month thing. For the past 2 years, I've been diligently tracking my family's grocery bill. I mean, as soon as we leave the grocery store, I'll take a picture of the receipt. And you know what? I compiled all those receipts, like 100 of them, over the past couple of years. And I threw it into Claude. And it's up like 30%. Like, it's insane. All the grocery prices are up like 30%. This is based off of my own anecdotal experience, my own tracking.
Why are groceries so expensive? I just stopped on my way home from work to get something for tonight, and my God, it was like over $40. It's insane. Like, I think about my kids when they were growing up. We had 4. So to feed a family of 6, I would go to the grocery store. I might have spent $120 for the whole week, and that would feed all 6 of us. Breakfast, lunch, and supper. And now I can't even get out just for supper for over $40.
Yep.
It's insane to me. I was a state.
It depends though, because I think it's at least $25 just for a simple meal, protein, some steak, some chicken thighs, chicken breast, and a couple of vegetables, a couple different sides of vegetables. But if you think you're gonna be eating out, good luck. I know for my family of 4, if we go to Chick-fil-A, it's gonna be $50. If we go to Chipotle, it's gonna be $50. Guys, what? To eat? What? What?
At-home mom, and my husband worked at the time, and we were good. I mean, the kids were fed, they had clothes on their backs. There is no way, I don't see how a family can make it now with just one of the parents working. I mean, there's just no way. Everything's expensive, and not only groceries, but housing and rent and gas, and I mean, it's just insane. And something needs to get done about it, because
I don't know how much longer people can go like this. Thank God I've got a pretty good job where I can afford groceries, but I know there are people struggling right now, and it's awful, and things need to get lower, or this whole economy is it's just going to be bad. And
I don't think anything can be done about it, though, unless we just let the system fail. The problem is that won't happen. Big banks are going to get bailed out. All the large corporations are going to get bailed out. Inflation is going to surge, and then we're going to be left to pick up the pieces, wondering if AI is going to take our jobs, or wondering if the dollars that we make today are going to have any remotely close to any value that they had today, tomorrow, or the next day, because the inflation is so high. Cooked.
Bro, I'm not gonna make it in this world because, like, tell me why I just went to Kroger's and got groceries. I just got paid today. My fucking paycheck. And I spent $73 fucking on popcorn, crackers, Cheez-Its, milk, ranch dressing, tomatoes. Just basic shit, man. Like,
you gotta avoid the snacks. You gotta avoid the snacks. The snacks are gone. Not even just because of health, but because of the wallet health. The snacks are gone. You just gotta get the whole foods, and that'll kind of soften this a bit. But yeah, y'all. Oreos, you can't get a bag of Oreos anymore. Cereal? If you eat cereal, $10 a box. Yeah, right.
Fucking Cheez-Its and a box of bean crackers was $5 a piece. The ranch dressing was been $5. The tomatoes was for $4. Like, the milk is $7 a gallon, and my kid drinks 3 gallons a week. That's $12. How the did I barely get any food and it's $73?
Somebody needs to explain to me why I can't afford this ground beef. I go into the supermarket, okay, because I'm looking for some ground beef for my lasagna and also for my spaghetti. I read the ground beef. Why is it $30? Who can afford that? And don't get me started on the chuck roast. The chuck roast is like $15 per pound.
It literally is. It literally is. We just had some tacos last night. My wife threw in the crock pot the chuck roast. And as she was searing it, I was up here working and I smelled the aroma coming upstairs, and I just know it's $15 a pound. It's good though.
Hey, what happened to groceries becoming more affordable? What the hell? That's an affordable line. Like, I am so disgusted right now. Dinner canceled because I can't even afford it.
Hey, don't cancel dinner. Don't cancel dinner. The thing is, we're going to have to be way more strategic about leftovers from now on. We got to be way more strategic about it. What we need to do is understand that whatever meal we make on one day, we got to start rationing, y'all. We have to ration our dinners. Eat half of what you would on one day. And then eat the other half the next day. I don't care if you're hungry. You got to eat so you don't starve. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So let me lay down what we're actually looking at, because the headlines are confusing on purpose. An electronic shelf label is a digital tag that replaces that little paper price sticker. Once every shelf in a store has one, the retailer can change the price at any time on any item for any reason. That's the capability, that's the infrastructure, and that's what's already been installed at scale. Walmart has roughly 2,300 stores with electronic shelf labels today. And what's worse is it's targeting the full American footprint by the end of this year. Kroger has its Edge system in about 500 stores as of right now, and is targeting 2,600 stores by this year's end as well. Kroger's CEO sat in front of the Senate Banking Committee and admitted infrastructure could enable dynamic pricing. Y'all, we're familiar with dynamic pricing. If you've ever been to Disneyland, Disney World, if you've ever been on an airplane, you're familiar with dynamic pricing. You do not want that for your groceries. But he also did say that the company isn't currently doing it. Both things can be true, and both things can stop being true at the exact same moment. So now layer the research on top of that. Studies on personalized AI pricing have shown price differences of up to 23% between two customers buying the exact same item at the exact same second. Y'all, it's getting scary out here because I don't think of that as efficiency. That's literally just price discrimination with AI. AI-enforced price discrimination is diabolical. FTC opened a surveillance pricing investigation specifically because of this. We have senators that have introduced bills to ban surge pricing on essential goods. And food is one of the most essential goods that we could ever have. Instacart is already under federal investigation for AI pricing experiments. None of this is hypothetical anymore, y'all. We're not just making it up and screaming that the sky is falling. No, this is here today. So there's a reason why you and most Americans might be staring at your grocery bill and wondering why it looks like a mortgage.
If I see a post of someone's grocery shopping where they say how much they spent, and I see a bunch of comments saying, oh, well, there's your problem. You bought a bunch of name brand stuff. You got Bounty. You got Philadelphia. Or, oh, you went to Trader Joe's. You went to Wegmans. Do we not work full time? Are we not all adults that are working full time? Why the fuck are you defending the prices? Saying, well, it's your fault for getting name brand. If we want to buy Bounty paper towels in Philadelphia when we work 35 to 40 plus hours a week, we should be able to do that.
That's where I kind of part ways, right? Look, we're all on the same page about things being expensive, but nobody is making y'all buy name brand stuff. And if you are gonna buy name brand stuff, then yeah, you can complain with the rest of us about how expensive things are, but we just feel a little less bad for you because you're not even optimizing for the cheapness, all right?
And I don't understand why y'all are all sitting around going, oh, shouldn't do that, shouldn't do that. I work my butt off. You work your butt off. You should be able to buy what you need. And if you want to spend it at Trader Joe's, Wegmans, Healthy Living in Vermont, the City Market Co-op, you should be able to do that. You should be able to buy whatever you want with your money because you are an adult working full time. But y'all want to say that's okay because it's a name brand. This...
A pound of ground beef. The cheapest beef available is now more than the federal minimum wage. A pound of ground beef at my local King Soopers is $7.49 because it's not on sale. The minimum federal wage is $7.20-something. Chuck roast, which has always been the cheapest roast available, is now $9.99 a pound. And it's not like you can just buy a pound of it. It's a roast.
Right. 2, 3.
And that makes chuck roast, on average, about $28. You know, one of the reasons that I shop at places like Costco is because I can afford a membership and I buy in bulk because that lowers your cost per pound. But of course, poor people are penalized because they can't afford to buy in bulk. It is the penalty you pay for being poor.
Is anyone else noticing their grocery bill going up a lot? Because I shop at Sprouts 90% of the time. And I used to spend about $100 for 2 bags of groceries. That would probably be roughly 2 to 3 days worth of food for me and my family. And that's gone from $100 to like $140, $150 now. And that's a big jump. I mean, I know tariffs and everything going into effect, prices are supposed to rise, but that's a lot. It's like a 50% increase in the span of, I don't know, 5 months, 6